you hiding here in the near clear blue?
He's been cited by IGN, The Quartering, Timcast, The Daily Wire, Bounding into Comics, and even Dr. Jordan B. Peterson.
What?
Hey, the Pro Show is on!
Awesome! Let's turn it on.
Guys? Where'd you go?
Morty, let's check in on Ryan Johnson's new trilogy.
Okay. I bypassed the compressor.
What did you do, Ray?
Son of a... That's gonna leave a mark.
Now, he was okay, after 6-7 weeks. Okay? They get over it. Kids are resilient like that.
Yeah. I hate it.
It's the standard, what would George do?
I don't want you here.
So sorry, George. I didn't think it would go like this.
Fly, you fools!
I've fallen, and I can't get up.
Weird.
Stay away from liquor, kids.
I have always liked Cowabunga.
Now that's more like it, Mr. Wayne.
It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward.
The Force will be with you. Always.
That's how winning is done.
I am vengeance. I am the knight.
That's what she said.
I am Batman.
If I won tonight, I would come home and we'd celebrate. Well, I'm coming home, we're celebrating. God bless you all.
Watch your habits, for they become your character. And watch your character, for it becomes your destiny. What we think, we become.
It's scooping time.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, in just 2 minutes, the lighting at the Magic Kingdom will dim for the performance of the Pro Show. We hope you enjoy and have a magical, truthful time. For the safety of others, please, no flash photography. And welcome to Provision 3D.
All right, everyone, put on your opera glasses. I'm going.
Keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
You know that you've been taught the golden rule, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you.
Yes, Pa.
Autobots, roll out!
I'm bringing the party to you.
If somebody's gonna try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money?
Fortune and glory, kid. Fortune and glory.
Chicken jockey! Alright, it's time to go to school, son. Come on, get your hands up, man!
Are you okay?
They'll never take our freedom!
From the redwoods of California to the hills of Tennessee to the Rockies in the Sunshine State and Maine with that bright and shining sea. From coast to coast in North America, it's time for your host with the most, bringing you all the entertainment news that should be fun. Ladies and gentlemen, It's the WDW Pro Show!
It's Monday, boys and girls, let's party! It's Monday, boys and girls, let's party!
And indeed, you should, ladies and gentlemen, get out your party, get out your confetti, get out your pom-poms if you're William Thompson or whatever you may have at the ready. Lauren, are you imbibing tonight? Do you have a beverage? Lauren, you do have a microphone. Click the button. Let's go. Let's go, Lauren. Professional show here. What do you got? Uh-oh. StreamYard strikes again. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I'll tell you what. Ghost, is your mic working?
Absolutely, and my pom-poms are ready.
All right. Well, now that's what I'm talking about. Mr. Ghost, do you have a beverage at the ready?
Yeah, just aqua, but some coffee Häagen-Dazs is aiming my way, so.
All right. Well, Mr. Ghost, I have a strategy. You know, I'm going on camera soon at the end of this month. It's probably going to be the 27th. Anyway, we've got an idea for a new thing we want to do around here. It's called Sip It and Click It, or Click It and Sip It. Maybe Click It and Sip It. The idea is you take a sip, all of us take it together, and then we click the like button. So, Ghost, while we work on Lauren's microphone issues, nope, sorry, Lauren. Mr. Ghost, shall we
just switched
click it
from
and sip
mute
it?
to not, so maybe something happened.
Lauren, we're going to kick it. You come right back, okay? Folks, he'll be back. We promise. Lou, how about we try it? Let's try the very first Click It and Sip It right here in the Pro Show. You ready?
All right.
All right, folks. Click the like button. Take a sip with us. I've got a matcha. Lou's drinking a water with a coffee to follow. Here we go in 3, 2, 1.
Click it.
Not the same without the cameras, but we'll get it fixed, folks. We'll get it fixed. All right.
We got thinking of those D-Day crickets, you know, the ones that they clicked once yes and twice no, and
there you go.
What I'm talking about. That sounded like a Mauser. Anyway,
yes, I'm just wondering where that one's going to lead us.
To the longest day, of course.
We've got a great panel. We're ready to bring him on right now as we work on Lauren's issues. We'll get him in too, but let's find out who's behind the panels today.
Who could that be? Let's go see, boys and girls.
And would you look at that, folks? We have an all-star panel ready to go. We've got Ron Coleman here to walk us through the FCC stuff. And we've got Lady Desiree to bring common sense and a bit of beauty as well. Intellect.
A bit.
She's got plenty.
More than a bit, for God's sakes.
Lord, look at us, Lou. We're a bunch of schlums down here at the bottom. I tell you, we're trying to make this place look a little bit, more decent, more professional. And the top row is lifting us up, as always. Ron, are you ready for the FCC today?
Yeah, that's actually that I wrote my absolutely execrable senior thesis, undergraduate thesis in college on the Federal Communications Act, broadband, radio band allocation, Coase's theorem. So it's a topic near and dear to my heart.
Fantastic stuff. And Lou, I'm sure you're going to have a lot to say about the FCC as well.
Well, I wrote my thesis on the conversion of the James Bond books into movies, so that just shows you the wide range of experience we have here between Ron and myself.
Ready to go from every single angle. All right, shall we find out, is Lorne working? Nope, he's giving me the signal. He is not ready to go. That's A-okay. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hit those super chats, and we want to welcome the more than 400 of you, the finest, best smelling, best looking, and smartest folks out there on the internet. We don't care what your mother said earlier today. We've got Bad News Badger out there dropping a wonderful 5 WDW Pro memberships. And look at that. We've changed the background. Why? Because we're going to play the Bad News Badger clip. Bad News Badger, I don't think the name is correct, though. You're just too good to be bad news here.
That one always makes me think of The Third Man. I don't know why, but that dark street with Orson sneaking out of one of the little niches in the wall.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, all of those You know, I thought about putting that one in black and white back in the day, just because it feels very noir.
As a noir, yes.
That's right. We've got Tales with Aramis. Aramis? We'll go with Aramis. Gifted 10. Aramis. Okay, well, I will try to raise
It's a cologne. It's 2 in 1.
Gifting 10 WDW Pro memberships. Thank you, my friend. It's good to see you out there. And I believe this is the first time on the screen, and we mean to say thank you truly.
Please, sir, may I have more pro memberships?
What?
God bless us, everyone!
1.21 gigawatts! 1.21 gigawatts!
All right, funny story to tell real quick before we dive into the stories we have. At the beginning of the pro show, sometimes, folks, you know, well, every time, it says the line, he's been cited by the Quartering, Tim Pool, blah, 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 and it goes through the list. And Ron got me today. He said, the Quartering. And I at the same time he put it out there, I said, by the way, Jonas is recording a new intro. And I said, I almost beat him to it, but
I just kind of stumbled onto this last night, and like a whole bunch of my friends are involved in this. Christy Mayer and I have been on each other's shows, and I'm friendly with young Miss Coulter, not the one who's Anne, but the one who's her niece.
And of course, we're partnered with Geeks and Gamers, and so all of the people we're in orbit with.
I've been on Jeremy, and I've had one of my first guests on my podcast. In fact, was Dankula, and trying to backfill on what went on here. I mean, this is like definitely the best e-drama of 2026, right? What do you think?
I'm telling you, and I'll tell you this too about it. I know we can get lots of trouble if we go to certain places on this. But I had a feeling. I just knew, folks, that behind the scenes, I had a feeling stuff was going on, and we did a clip a while ago for the channel, and we snuck in a joke about this. If you all know Coffee Brand Coffee, well,
yeah.
See what we were doing with that about a year and a half ago, before it was in vogue to do so.
Hello there and hi there from Quick Buck Comics. We've been watching as companies like Disney, Warner Brothers, and Universal all universally suck. And then we watched as companies like Rippaverse and Big Man Comics came in to save the day. That's when we realized we could make crappy comics and do it the cheap way, by not doing the hard work that Rippaverse and Big Man Comics were doing. We've got characters like John Maynard, William Thompson, and Staccato DDS. Why? Because we stole them from the WDW Pro audience. Because making characters is hard. And by the end of every comic, you get to draw your own panels. Why? Because art is hard. But please, folks, when you're done, make sure to buy our coffee that's made by someone else with our label slapped on it. Why? You guessed it. Making coffee is hard.
Folks, please welcome to the show the man who is going to be behind a huge marketing push now to fill the void, the gap that has been created. Fake Wizard is going to start his own soda brand, and it's going to say, every cup comes with a little whiz in it. Is that right, Wizard?
Oh, Fake Wizard is my crush, my streaming crush of the month.
Really?
Oh, this guy is so good. I mean,
that means a lot, Ron.
The costume isn't all that good, but the
I would
content.
agree.
Ron and I have been talking about this. Like, where do you go? Where does the man go in the wizard costume?
If I could lose the costume, I would. But it's working for me right now, so I got to keep it.
That's right.
It's only a matter of time, Wizard. It's only a matter of time.
I'm going on camera. I mean, we have to make the sacrifices.
It always, you just have to. You want it to be on your terms, buddy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. And by the way, if anyone who knows you obviously is not fooled anyway.
That's right. Well, folks, we put it out in the chat, and we want you to click on that. It's the link to all of the wonderful social media locales of Miss Lady Desiree. Lady Desiree, thank you for coming our way today. Would you tell the folks out there who you are? You've been on the show before, but for those who have not seen you in the past, tell them, who are you, what do you do, and why should they be subscribed yesterday?
Well, I am a pianist. I've been a music streamer for
about 10 years, and I have a live show that I do most mornings, sometimes afternoons, and take requests and play lots of geek culture music and music from movies, music from everything from Sinatra to Metallica, all kinds of stuff. And it's also like a mix of conversation too, and just talk about kind of a little bit of what's going on in the world and entertainment and, or about like the movies that I'm playing the music from, etc., how the music is constructed. Just basically whatever pops into my head. So it's very random. That's fun.
All right, let's see what happens when we click on Twitter. Where do we go? Right here, ladies and gentlemen. So click on that link and find all the ways you can find Desiree, Lady Desiree today. This is handy dandy. We got to get one of these. We got to get one of these. Except I'm only on a few things. I'm not on all of this. That's very impressive. Quite the list.
Rumble has kind of become my main platform now. I do. Sorry, I think that was my laptop. Was that mine? Sorry.
I think it was the magic sound of Lauren rejoining us. Lauren, are you working now?
There he is.
You tell me.
Hey, Lauren's back.
Sorry about that.
That's all right, Lauren. We're just happy you're here. We were just showing people the wonderful social media locales of Miss Lady Desiree and where they can find her. And Lauren, you're just in time for the first story. Are you excited?
I am thrilled.
Now, normally, Lauren, we do the banter at the beginning, you and I, on a Monday night. So how about this? How about you read the super chats, okay? Would you like to do that?
Yep, I can do that. Need to start at the top?
Nope, I'll put them on the screen for you. You just say what they say.
You got it. John's 9652 for $5. When Legal Mindset does a video about you, you're cooked.
It's on my list of don't go there. Don't land in that situation. I don't want to be there. I don't want Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers mad at me. Oh no, Wiz has gone with the oranges. We're done for. We're cooked here tonight. Oy vey. All right, Archer for two.
Oranges.
Lauren, read this one for me, please.
The checks bounced. That's where they went.
That's where they went. All right, folks, we've got gifted memberships. We had to click the button again, and things are going to get screwy around here, but we'll bring our friends right back in 3, 2, 1. Here they are. See, StreamYard, you can play nice, and that wasn't so bad. All right, let's put them on the screen. What do we got? Tinder Warrior has dropped 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Tinder Warrior. And we've got Patrick Ganaway out there gifting 5 WDW Pro memberships. Thank you. We appreciate it, truly.
I want to hear it.
Not right now.
Yes, now, Dusty Bun.
Wait. Okay.
God dang it, from the bottom of our hearts here on the WDW Pro channel, thank you.
All right, folks, we have to get to it. We're 20 minutes in, and we need to win on these stories today. We'll do it for you. It's on the docket. We're going to rock it. What is it? Well, the FCC at war with Disney. Out of NBC News, Democratic FCC commissioner tells Disney it is the target of a censorship campaign. In an extraordinary letter to Disney CEO, FCC Commissioner Ana M. Gomez accused her agency of attempting to pressure all media into submission, which is a very mundane statement. She is clearly right in the middle and not at all biased whatsoever. All media into submission. Okay, well, that's not at all. Daniel Arkin writing this one. Disney and ABC are the targets of a sustained, coordinated campaign of censorship and control orchestrated by the Orange Godzilla, El Trumpo. His administration's Federal Communications Commission, the lone Democrat on the regulatory panel, said Monday. And everybody in the Trump administration was so happy they left one of those on there. In a remarkable letter to Disney CEO Josh D'Amaro, FCC Commissioner Ana M. Gomez decried the political weaponization of the federal media regulator under Chairman Brendan Carr, a Republican appointed by President Donald Trump. Quote, "You are not the first target of this campaign, and you will not be the last. But Disney's experience is, by now, the most documented and is worth laying out plainly." Gomez, a telecommunications lawyer who was appointed to a seat on the FCC by former President Joe Biden, highlighted a series of FCC regulatory actions that she said were aimed at pressuring a free and independent press and all media into submission. She vowed to shine a light on what the FCC is doing to curtail press freedom. Now, I can't say just yet, folks, if she has a point here, but I can tell you that the press that's being defended is The View. This is crazy to me, but ultimately, what is this mess all about? Whoopi and Sonny and Joy. Business Insider says, first Kimmel, now The View, Disney's pushing back.
That feels like you should sing it to the tune of Abraham, Martin, and John. Whoopi and Sonny and Joy.
Right. Peter Kafka says Disney doesn't want to be in a fight with Donald Trump. Although I thought they did back when Bob Iger was in charge. It says so in 2024 and 2025, the entertainment giant appeared to be appeasing him. And this goes on to talk about Disney settled with President Trump on some stuff over ABC. Now, if we go here to from the Federal Communications Commission, FCC, it says in the matter of KTRK Television Inc. and American Broadcasting Companies, and this is the petition for declaratory ruling. And it goes on to talk about what this is, which is essentially The View is labeled as a news program, and The View does not adhere to having Republicans on, and the FCC doesn't like that. Ron, because it's on a network, there's an argument that, you got to have fair time for both sides of the political aisle. That obviously doesn't happen on The View. And this has kind of been amorphous. This has kind of shifted over time, what the FCC is angry about. So, Ron, I don't know how you're going to go with this one. You may surprise us in your calculation here, but what do you think about the FCC?
I may. So let me remind you of something that when this came up, that we discussed when this came up last time, which is that although ABC is a network, it is not its networkness that is at issue here, because networks don't have broadcast licenses.
Right.
Stations do. But being a network means you own a lot of stations. And it is the licensure of those stations that is being put into into play here. It is a bit of a stretch. Not because, I will point out again, I'm friendly with Brendan Carr. He was also on my program. Really, I'm such a happening, for someone with only 13,000 subscribers, I am such a happening guy. It's really mind-boggling.
We know your X numbers, Ron. Don't you play humble with me.
Not only Brendan Carr, but also legal whatchamacallit we just mentioned.
Legal Mindset.
Legal Mindset. Everyone involved in this is a bud. But what Brendan Carr is doing is he is playing the kind of political hardball with the FCC that Democrats have done with other agencies for years. We're not really used to it, though. And, the world has really shifted so much toward a sort of a laissez-faire attitude towards FCC content regulation. I wouldn't want to be the lawyer who takes this up in front of an appellate court. Anything can happen in the district court, especially in the district of DC, where a number of lunatics are on the bench. But technically speaking, what the FCC is doing here is legitimate, at least to raise the question, and that because The View does have an exception from the equal time rule as a news program, and the argument is, and I think it is a cogent one. The argument is it's not a news program; it is a political program like Jimmy Kimmel's show that only it doesn't report. First of all, it doesn't report news. It's full of inaccuracy all the time. It doesn't hold it. It doesn't really adhere to a journalistic standard, but and it is very partisan. But gosh, people don't really. There's not a lot of public support for the FCC getting involved in this. This is the legacy media. This is, I think, the wrong battlefield for conservatives to fight in. And again, I don't mind what Brendan is doing because I think the pushback and raising the issue of bias at the major networks is a legitimate political exercise, and it's not unlawful or unethical. But I think at the end of the day, it's gonna be unsuccessful. One of the interesting things, though, before I got you before you could catch your breath and say something else. One of the interesting things that's going on here is you have this FCC, which you just pointed out, Gomez, the Democrat member of the commission. Remember, there are 3 commissioners, 2 Republicans and 1 Democrat. For her to write as partisan a letter as she did while sitting on the commission is pretty much a norm violation in and of itself. So in a way, she's sort of, she's making a political choice, and it's not necessarily a bad one, but it does tend to undermine the credibility of the FCC in general, which, by the way, might not be a terrible thing, because the FCC is 100 years old. It isn't really clear that it has a legitimate role in our economy, in our communication ecosystem anymore. So, I don't mind the idea that people who think and write about these things think hard about the role of the FCC. I mean, we're no longer, when I wrote that senior thesis, about the rationalization that was given the regulation of the broadcast spectrum, there was this idea that there's this really limited resource, which is the broadcast spectrum. And since the government is going to be in charge of giving out who gets what spots, what frequencies, there has to be some kind of fairness, some kind of government involvement. In the years since then, we have found ways to drill down deeper and deeper and narrower, and to digitize even free radio and free TV. So, a lot of the rationale for it doesn't make a lot of sense anymore. So, but, here we are.
Ron, let me ask you a follow-up on that. So, and we're getting a little bit of a back on that. Okay, so we have kind of mocked Disney in the past because this has been something we knew was a weakness for them. It was an opening for the FCC. And the opening is that The View is obviously not news. It seems to me that Disney enjoys labeling The View as news simply because of a marketing technique where they can come out and say that it's the #1 news program in daytime network TV. Now that's a lot of qualifications to get there, but that if they didn't call it a news organization or a news program, it wouldn't be #1 in anything. I mean, it's like the Price is Right quadruples the viewership. And so for this very silly thing, Ron, they've opened it up to the FCC.
Well, but wait, isn't part of why they want to be called news that the equal time rule doesn't apply? And therefore they don't have to bring on Republicans.
But I think Lou, I think what Pro is saying is, if this matters to Disney more than the equal time rule, where probably the FCC is vulnerable if push comes to shove.
Yeah.
But they want the marketing juice that comes with being able to say that this Yentafest is actually a news program.
If only it came on at 11:35.
Well, no, wait a minute. As opposed to 11:34.
News at 11.
But now, clarify for me though, because my understanding was under the rules that exist, that if ABC News, for example, has a presidential candidate, major presidential candidate, ABC News also has to give equal time as a news organization to the other side. I thought this applied to news just the same.
Yes, it does.
Okay,
it does. But what I'm saying is that I don't think that would drive the decision as much as your marketing. In other words, if I were Disney's lawyer, I might very well say this is the fight to fight. Let's throw down. Because we just might win this one if we take it all the way to the top, especially in the DC circuit.
Absolutely. Okay,
it's not all the way to the top, but it's pretty far.
So Lou, let me ask you, because you've been in the industry, you've worked for network television and all this kind of stuff. Lou, this has changed over time. So, or at least it seems that way to me. I could be wrong about that, but it feels like we started off with Disney hiring quotas that may have been illegal and filling their stations in that way. And it's moved now to this argument. I thought the former was a much more potent argument if the FCC was going to get involved.
But it's not the FCC's purview.
Right. So do you sense though this as a movement, and do you feel that this is weaker though?
Well, but see, the big thing is, like Ron said, the overall percentage of the media we are all potentially exposed to, controlled legally by the FCC, has shrunk to almost nothing compared to what it was because of the rise of alternative media. So
let me throw out something else out. I'm not so sure, Pro, that the legal definition that Disney calling The View a news and information program and marketing it as a news and information program are inexorably tied.
Well, okay, so let me add to that then, Ron. My understanding is it's actually underneath the ABC News organization, like the funding and the leadership comes through that for The View, which is bizarre. So that may have practical effect on it. Okay, let me go to Wiz.
And the advertising.
Yeah, Wiz and Lady Desiree, whoever wants to go at this one. First Amendment considerations, this is part of what's being brought up. Every time Kimmel, every time there's a call for Kimmel to be taken off the air because he says something vile, we're told, oh, no. First Amendment, you've got the right to have a late night show. And every time we have these kinds of situations, the defense is the First Amendment. I'm not sure the First Amendment is actually the at stake here whatsoever, but that's the claim. Is this, at least in terms of PR, is this a solid fight that Disney can put up to say our First Amendment rights are being attacked under this? Does that garner any sympathy, you think?
I go to Lady Desiree first.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around The View being considered a news station. I think that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Somewhere Whoopi is crying.
It's just it's a ridiculous talk show that I don't know anybody who watches it. All this is going to become so obsolete in a couple of years. I feel like nobody my age watches the news anymore at all on network TV.
Lady Desiree, everyone who the number of people in your home state who watch The View, that's the audience right there. It's all the people in my mom's retirement community.
Well, and not to be morbid, but they're not going to be around forever.
And people stuck in waiting rooms at doctors' offices all across the country.
Now, you all are being mean to The View. You are being mean to The View. And I'm going to this completely blind. I want everybody to understand, I have never looked at this. We've seen prior reports. The View will release their own statements on their ratings through ABC News, through their own press release, okay? I haven't looked at this one, so I might get surprised, but it says The View ranks number 1 in households and total viewers among, and this is fun, among all daytime network talk shows. So I think they've updated that. I think in the past they called themselves news. They've switched that to daytime network talk shows.
It sounds like they're changing their title to fit whatever, title they want to throw out there to say they're number 1 in,
Well, the fun thing is daytime on networks is 11 to 2 p.m. Go ahead, Lou.
All those paragraphs on the screen are missing something. Actual numbers of eyeballs watching the show. You can be number 1 if your competition gets 0 and you get 1. So, it's how you keep score. Now we move. Okay, there we go. 10%. Okay, all right.
I will tell you something. To be really clear about this, I think look, after my father passed away 10 years ago, my mother, she should live and be well, married a marvelous man who takes care of her, and he should also live and be well. And he's a little bit of a communist, but what The View has done to distort my mother's understanding of the world is criminal.
And this CNN and MS Now.
This is a woman who grew up in Cuba, a child of Polish Jewish refugees who escaped the Holocaust, okay, and who was raised with an understanding of what freedom and liberty were all about. And her mind now is so mushy and so soft and pliable because of these yentas and their stupid, non-thing. But it is soporific. I see my dear old mom sitting there and just, nodding and just listening to these women agree with each other. It's criminal. It's elder abuse.
Ron, I have the same experience. I got to get this anecdote in. Same experience. I have a beloved family member who always has been just, the most logical person in the world. Goes into assisted living. And in assisted living, what do they play nonstop? CNN and MS Now. Okay, so what's the result of that? If you live in assisted living and that's all that's on, suddenly my relative starts calling me and saying, did you know about this? can you believe this is happening? I'm like, that's not happening. They're like, what? It's on all the time here. It must be happening. No, it's not.
Fourth, my 98-year-old mom, who is in an assisted living situation, all she does is tell me what jerks all the other people living there are for believing the bullshit they believe.
Lauren, you've been trying
I
to
don't
get
want to
in.
go down to dinner and talk to those people. They all spout that commie crap.
It used to be about bingo. Lauren, what do you got?
A couple of points. First, I want to ask Ron, if somebody is a little bit communist, would you say that they're slightly Stalin-esque? And I think, to me, the issue when it comes to the FCC is there is the initial complaint that there was about them having the hiring practices, and whether that's within their purview or not, I know that's one of the things that initially they were being warned about. But I kind of disagree about the idea that because the market segment of people watching on the public airwaves has shrunken, that we should be paying less attention to how they're enforcing FCC policies on those bans, because it seems to me that's up to the government to then address that and either open that up or because the issue as I see it is that you have all of these people on their public broadcast airwaves saying, who shall rid me of this troublesome priest? And in that sense, they're using public airwaves that are granted to them by the government to say that. And that is it acts like a tacit government endorsement unless they address that.
Let me toss this to everybody for context. Ron, I think that the reason they're doing this now, and I'm sorry, real fast, is because they know the House oversight is likely to change or could change in January. So if they're going to go after Disney, they have to do it now. Okay, Ron, go.
It's not going to change. Are you kidding? with the redistricting? Oh no!
I agree. It's not going to change.
But let me
You're right.
Let me answer Lauren's questions. First of all, answer question number one is in my mother's case, it's quasi Castro.
Okay.
Not semi-Stalin.
The bell ringer of Havana, quasi Castro.
Secondly,
I'm sorry, Lou, you got me.
You make a very important point, Lauren, which is that if that's the law, it is the FCC. It's the FCC's job to enforce it. There is, however, a question. But there are two questions, right? One of them is, and this goes back to I think a few people have mentioned. How does it sell? Given that this is a political choice being made by Brendan Carr, how does it sell? What does it do for the politics? A and B, is there a possible constitutional vulnerability here? Because the FCC Act has not been challenged on constitutional grounds for a very long time, but so have a lot of things not been that have not been challenged for a very long time. And keep in mind, on the Roberts Court, there is this inclination to find low-hanging fruit that mainly doesn't really matter that much, that the moderate conservatives can give to kick over to the other side to prove that they're fair brokers. It gets them nothing. But in their minds, they're demonstrating this might be an example of the kind of case. And you had said something very important about government endorsements. This was the issue that was before the Supreme Court in my big case, the slants, the in-rate Mattel versus 10, which is if the government registers a trademark, is there endorsement of the message of the trademark? And the Supreme Court ruled correctly that no, it's just a registration of trademarks. The government is just holding open a basket and saying, if what you've got is qualifies under the law as a trademark, then we're going to register it. No one assumes that the government really believes that Coke is the real thing. No one really, et cetera. It's hilarious.
Let alone that things go better with it.
Right. Listen, we can do an age test here to see how far our cultural memory is going. But I don't think anyone, Lauren, I think most people don't even realize that government really licenses. because there's so little. Remember when we were kids, and Lauren, you're a much younger man than I, of course, but remember when we were kids, you would have someone, after the news came on, the 11:35 news, right? There would be a little editorial, now, pursuant to the equal time rules, here comes Emily Latella to express her disagreement with a recent, item that was on our news program, and she would be entitled to get up there. There was a guy in the New York area named Martin Abend, and he was this cranky old Jewish right-wing guy who would come on after the news and fetch about he was a man ahead of his time. But I don't think anyone is even cognizant of that anymore. These are really great issues.
Well, I wonder, look, because Brendan and the FCC have made noise and raised this issue, and this woman's fighting back and all that, it hasn't actually gone to any kind of concrete punishment or ruling or adjudication. Is it all just politics? Is it messaging to those on our side of the aisle? If you want people who are going to fight for you, you better keep us in power at the next election, or else these other guys will be running the show. Do they never expect it to go any further than it has, perhaps? I don't know.
I think you're asking a fair question, but Disney's throwing down. They're saying the things I would say if I were representing them, and I don't think if you're the FCC that you can take these actions and assume that there's not going to be pushback.
All right. Well, we go to the man of the hour.
In the briar patch, Ron.
That's right. Speaking of a briar patch, it's on this man's face.
Yeah, that's right. Is that the case here? Good question.
Wiz, I want to go to you for the public reaction to this. How do you think this will play on social media? Who's the winner? Who's the loser? And what's the PR game? Like, how should the government be positioning themselves publicly versus Disney? What's the right way?
Unfortunately, I just see this being more of the same. I actually think it's the people that are already watching The View are not going to stop watching The View. The people that are already watching Kimmel are not going to stop watching Kimmel. Almost
no Kimmel to watch.
Right. Well, but almost to what Lady Desiree said, like the people that watch these shows, the people that watch this programming, like they're there, but they won't be there forever. Right. So regardless of whatever happens here, it's the audience will eventually no longer be around to watch. They're not gaining new people. And so that's the angle that I keep this on. Whether The View ceases to exist or whether Kimmel ceases to exist, the next guy that Disney puts up or that Warner puts up or whatever the case may be, it's still going to get the same amount of people that are watching it now will watch it then.
That's right. And we're battling over, I think, 8 total stations. It may be 11 stations, but I think it's 8 stations. But they're some of the biggest markets out there: Los Angeles, New York,
and there is an argument, right, Wizard, that you're handing them the ability to wear the crown of affliction. Look at how we're the victims of government censorship.
Yes.
The orange man's coming after us, and I'm not so sure they've earned that. I think Brendan Carr understands his task, what he was appointed to do, very well. But, it's certainly reasonable. People can disagree whether it's a great strategy.
All right. We will keep following this one, folks, and we'll bring you the different angles, just as we've done here. What a panel, what intellect, and what expertise. Folks, this is why we get to do what we get to do, because we love it. And we should also say, folks, why do we get to do it? Not only because we love it, but because of you. The dream comes true every single day and night because you're watching. Michael is out there for 10. I created a podcast, The Storm Forge Chronicles. Come visit me. Thanks. Ooh. Well, Michael, sounds like a great name, and can't wait to see what you got out there. Good times. For 5, again, it's aliens versus supernatural creatures. See who will win. Going with the old Art Bell, are we? And then Patrick Ganaway for 5. Tell me, dim FCC chairs didn't do any censorship during their tenures. We'll play on words there, Patrick. I like it. We got Bad News Badger again for 50 crowns. I am thinking about a name change. So far, News with Nick Gurr has been advised against for reasons unknown to me. Now that's clever. Patrick for 5. We should boycott instead. For the love of all that is holy, cancel Disney Plus and every other Disney thing. Unfortunately, Wiz will be back to say the same thing, but he's not here right now. Amish Warlord for $4.99. Why not challenge Disney's status as a monopoly? Every branch has to function like a separate company entity. Every branch of Disney. Okay, sorry. Well, Disney isn't a monopoly in any way that I can see. Nope. So they would have to have a stranglehold on an industry. They're not winning in streaming
on a market.
On a market. They're not winning in the streaming wars. They're nowhere close to Netflix or YouTube.
And if anything, they are less of a monopoly thanks to, shall we call them epic headwinds?
Oh, Epic Universe just wiping them out and their market share. So it's a great thought, but I'm not sure Disney qualifies right now. Redisars for 5. There once lived a man named Lorne. He liked to eat lots of corn. It's actually chicken. The acolyte made people mad, but it just made him sad. So he went home and saw. Boop.
So I'm going to argue against this.
You went home and put on some.
Yeah,
to get the meter, at least if you for $5, get the meter right.
Get the meter.
I was going to argue against the limerick on syllabic grounds, but also the fact that I'm not really a huge corn fan unless it's popcorn.
No grits.
He's more of a chicken man.
I am definitely a chicken man.
I'm not sure I like where this is going at all.
Patrick for 5. But Ron, Joy Behar is such a nice lady. Hey,
really
lady.
is.
Nice lady. Yeah, Jerry Lewis needs to do something about that from beyond the grave.
Superfly, love the name for 5. Pro is going to do a face reveal and surprise everyone that Wilton was running the show the whole time. Oh, you don't know how close you might be on a joke coming up. Kaylee for 5. According to Real Fake Wizard, if Coke don't have Coke in it, it's fake. Ron just confirmed it was true. And then Ken. He's the real Ken out there. He's the realest Ken. Real fake coffee. A little whiz. Every time.
I see what you did there.
That's branding. All right, folks, we've got a story for you, and it is that there's a Mandalorian star who is trending right now because he's calling for an armed rebellion against the U.S. government. I'm not making this up. This is real, okay? We didn't make... You know what? Let's just go there. Let's do the story. You won't believe it until you see it.
Oh, yeah.
We'll make that happen right now. There's a Mandalorian star out there, and he says that we should have an armed rebellion against the U.S. government. Well, a revolution anyway. This is a story, folks, that's been out there for a few weeks at least, but it's resurfaced, and I think I know why. I'm going to tell you in just a second. But from Matrix Bot, it's everywhere. Breaking Bad star, but also Mandalorian star, first 2 seasons. Giancarlo Esposito says it's time for a revolution. Says some people would die, but, the rest of us would survive. They can't take us all down. If the whole world showed up in Washington, which, by the way, that's a tight squeeze. The entire world's going to be a tight squeeze. I don't know how you're going to find a hotel room. They'll kill 550 million, or however, which is a good span, right? 500.
That's quite a spread. That's
500 to 50 million. Okay, here he is. Here's the Variety interview. So it's true. This is what the Mandalorian star had to say.
It's time for a revolution. It's time for it. And they don't even know that's what they're starting. Some very rich old white men are exerting their power to suppress our own people, thus creating a feeling of civil war in the streets, preparing the haters to hate, teaching them how to shoot. They're not even trained right. Kill. This is all a preparation for a very insidious problem that's happening in our world. And for me, I have to speak out that we will not be iced out. This is not going to happen. They can't take us all down. If the whole world showed up on Putin's doorstep or on the Iranian's doorstep or in Washington, I love it.
Iran, Russia.
Did those evil white people make him wear those glasses? That's what I want to know.
It must have. It's the only possible explanation.
Kill 550 million, however, but the rest of us would survive with a new. This is time for a revolution. It's time for it, and they don't even know that's what they're starting.
All right, Lauren, I'll go to you first. You're the Star Wars guy, and as I get ready to do so, Lauren, I imagine that this did not.
Lauren, come on, Lauren, explain this.
This is not the way the interviewer thought it was going to go. I think this is the guy who always says, "Is this the gayest thing ever?" So I think this guy may have walked up and said, "Is this the gayest microphone ever?" And we got revolution instead. So Lauren, what in the world, man?
This was from several months ago, but I still think that this is a Lord Farquaad story. It's not a Star Wars story. This is, some of you may die, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. It's like that's the gist of this thing.
He didn't say he'd be in the front ranks, did he?
No, certainly not. It's just that a bunch of you may die, but some of us won't, and that sounds pretty good.
To make an omelet, you got to break a few eggs, so he's ready to break those eggs.
Never my egg.
He's just a twit.
All right, so here's the deal. I think this is trending again, and it's trending. I mean, it's everywhere. People are resharing this in a way that it did. And we covered this on That Park Place back when it happened. I mean, we had an article, and people kind of ignored it because, he's crazy, and we all knew that, and he's not in anything. But I think that the Mark Hamill thing has dislodged this and put it back into the sphere of where people are paying attention. Mark Hamill doing the thing with the, deceased President Trump in the open grave and all that kind of stuff. And then he came out and said, sorry, not sorry if the picture offended you. I think that has drawn this back in now where people are saying, why are so many of the Star Wars people freaking crazy? And they seem to be unhinged. And Disney's got to be wondering, can we get to the finish line of this movie without so many of our, stars going nuts on us?
Well, there's a question of, is there somebody that's trying to deliberately kill the movie? I think there may be some people that are, but those are people who are probably no longer with us, I would say. I just think the whole thing is ridiculous, and I don't think that we should spend a whole lot of time trying to analyze what he's thinking, because he's not. He's sheltered, he's rich, he doesn't know what it's like to live in the real world.
Lord, the opportunity to make fun of that outfit.
Oh, sure. But I mean, this is a guy who should have been at the Met Gala. Did you see that stuff? That was a hoot.
That's what the Met Gala is for, though.
There was some lady dressed as a tumor. It was really quite something.
Well, it's the only one who actually was properly representing the nature of the crowd.
Somebody understood what this is exactly.
So,
Lady Desiree.
I'm just looking at these two pictures. And the one on the right, I assume, is from one of his performances. I guess, Breaking Bad or one of those?
Gus Fring.
So
yes.
Do they darken his skin for that show?
Oh, my.
It's lighting.
Here we go.
No, it's actually the lighting.
Okay, because when I saw the show, I thought he was a lot darker than he is in the hat shot.
No, but but remember in the show, he's an evil guy, so they almost always show his shadow.
However, to support him, I'll say in that show, he serves a lot of chicken.
and that gets him on the side of Lauren on almost anything. Lady Desiree, there has been so much conflict around this Mandalorian thing and the characters that are in it. Do you sense that it's damaging Disney in the box office, or are normies still not really seeing this? Has it not yet percolated up to where it's in the purview of the mainstream?
It's hard for me to say because I feel like most of my connections in the entertainment world online are definitely not normies. And I would say they are absolutely awake to all the nonsense of Star Wars and have already started boycotting it. And we just only think of Star Wars as the movies, the 4, 5, and 6 and 1, 2, and 3. And that's pretty, even 1, 2, and 3 is debatable. And then we pretend the rest of it doesn't exist. So I don't know. I think it's reached normie land. I think normies kind of understand the psychotic rantings of Mark Hamill, but I don't know for sure.
So, I don't know, Wiz. What do you think about? I don't know if Giancarlo Esposito is doing anything else right now. Is maybe this an attempt to
being fabulous is a thing to do?
Well, sure, but I mean,
I'm fabulous, but I'm not calling for revolution.
I hear he's got a contract to be an OnlyFans person in a TV drama because it worked for Sydney, so why not him? Anyway, these people.
How'd you find out about that? But seriously, Giancarlo Esposito people see him as the Breaking Bad guy. He's Gus from Breaking Bad. He's in The Mandalorian. He's not moving the box office. He's not a leading guy. He's a support character. He's a villain. That's
he's good at it. He is good at
he's
that.
He's good at it. Yeah, I wouldn't discount that. I've met him in real life. He's a performer all the time. This guy is always on. He's always active. He's always performing. That's just who he is. I didn't take him as being a violent guy the few times that I've met him, and but this is just Hollywood hubris going wild. I don't know if this is a reflection on Disney so much as it's a reflection on all of the actors still thinking that we care about what they have to say and what they want to do.
I just wondered more if this was an attempt to bringing this story back up, being as it is an old story, if it's an attempt to get his name out there again, maybe to try and get some new roles. And also, as a sidebar, I want to say that if I were to start an OnlyFans channel, it would be called All Hat, No Cattle.
Well, I'll note that. Thank you. All right, so here's a question I've got for the panel. When it comes to this situation, I know people say, well, he's not really in The Mandalorian, blah, blah, blah. Gina Carano supposedly didn't have a contract with Disney, and when she didn't do what they wanted, when she dared put beep, bop, boop in her pronouns, they said, you're out of here. You're canned, you're blacklisted, and we're going to slime you in the trades. Nothing from Disney on this. Now we're months into it. By the way, Mark Hamill, same thing. Why is it only Gina that gets treated that way? Why do they feel that when it comes from the other side, they don't have to come out and slam it? They don't have to come out and say, nope, we're going to repudiate this with full force. What's the difference here, guys?
It's the double standards of Hollywood.
Ron says we've tread this track before, I believe.
Of course, but no one ever thought that they meant it, that they were serious in the way they described their rationale for getting rid of Gina, and no one believes that they're going to punish any of the left-wing minions for being left-wing loudmouth minions.
True that. All right.
Guys, it's been an incredible simulation of reality for me. I'm going to return to the swamps of Jersey. Have a great time, everybody.
May the gators stay away from you.
Don't breathe the fumes.
No, it's good here. I'm right on the Passaic River. What are you talking about?
Oh, well, there you go.
Good to see you.
And would you look at that? How about that? Ron leaves and Andy Masterson shows up.
You notice you never see the two of them together at the same time?
I know.
It's one of those superhero alter ego things,
Andy, could you remove your glasses? I think Ron wears glasses, but maybe there's a trick here. I just don't know.
It's the Superman curl.
I see. The hair on versus the hair off. I got it. All right. Well, folks, you're being so generous out there, and we do appreciate it. Let's get to the super chats right now. Patrick Getaway for 5. Giancarlo, you and whose army? Yeah, he's going to need one of those. I don't know if somebody's told him. And then John Maynard for $4.99. That Giancarlo statement is old. Did he say anything aside from this? Not lately, but what we wanted to get to on that was, one, did the Mark Hamill stuff, did that dislodge that and bring that back to the mainstream? And then two, I just want us to think about the fact that there's this, it's not that it's a double standard. It's like, come on, guys. We got Gina saying beep, bop, boop in her pronouns. Who cares? And we got this guy calling for the revolution to take down the United States government. Like, Ant Mountain. Ant Hill Meat Mountain. That is what I say there.
Not just, he mentioned Putin too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, they're, one in the same.
So, it's like, did he ever see Tiananmen Square? Did that ever occur to him?
They forget so quickly. The M4 Empire. Good to see you out there, Marvin, for 5 for the goal. Thank you so much. And how about we move things around again? There we go. All right, folks, let's see. We are 14 out of 30. We are just about the halfway point for the Super Chat goal, which is fantastic because we're also about halfway through tonight's show. before we go to the next story, which is a big one to do with Mandalorian and Pedro Pascal. And did he spoil the movie with a big whoopsie, a big oopsie doopsie? Cyrano for 5 for the goal and for the Pro Familia. Bueno, muchísimas gracias, Cyrano. And we appreciate you. All right. Randy, though. All right. Let's see here. Lady Desiree, would you mind to tell the folks out there one more time, please, where they can find you and what it is you do for those who say, who is she and why am I not subscribed?
I have a live stream where I talk and chat about stuff in the world and play the piano and take requests and kind of relate it all somehow. I'm on Rumble and I also stream to Kick, multi-stream to Kick. And I'm on YouTube as well, but I don't live stream to YouTube.
Desiree, I wanted
it. Are annoying about music.
You said something when you first came on about some sort of everything from heavy metal to Sinatra. I'd love to hear that mashup sometime.
I don't know if I've actually done a mashup of the two at the time, but like I'll just get back-to-back requests that are total opposites, but it's fun. But I could try a mashup of Metallica and Sinatra. We can make that work.
Desiree, I wanted to ask you. So the Galaxy's Edge lands, the Star Wars lands in Walt Disney World and Disneyland. One of them is already playing John Williams scores, the ones that we know from Star Wars, and the other one probably is going to do it very, very soon. And we've been watching video of people actually brought to tears by John Williams music playing inside the theme parks. And I wanted to ask you what you thought about that, one, and two, what is it about John Williams that he's able to do that with his music? What is the magic inside those melodies that he's created?
John Williams is my favorite. He knows his stuff. He knows his music theory. He's classically trained. And he knows the chord progressions that are going to, pull on your heartstrings. And he's masterful at creating wonderful melodies. And he's, I could go song by song and tell you what he's doing and why it's so great. But that's to sum it up. He knows what he's doing. He's one of the few composers out there too that orchestrates his own music, meaning he writes it for the orchestra, writes all the parts. Composers nowadays, they have like a whole team. They give it to an orchestrator. They do all that, but he's old fashioned. He would do it all himself, orchestrate it, paper and pencil. And, it takes a certain level of skill to be able to do that. And sadly, I think it's starting to become more of a lost art in composition now, especially with the AI taking off too, and just so many shortcuts. And that's not to say that there can't still be good music that's created with shortcuts, but I think there's something to be said to really, really know your craft well, and he definitely does.
Why do you think that music today is not as memorable when it comes to movies? Like in the 80s, we can go back to the 80s, and it's not just because we're nostalgic for the 80s. It's like we can go back to the Future. We can go back to, well, funny movie just popped in my head. You could go back to Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and by golly, it had music that I can still remember to this day. And I don't know, why the effort was put into having those movies be so memorable versus now. I don't know if it has to do with the soundtracks are not as monetized today versus an album came out with every single movie back then, a cassette or whatever. Desiree, what changed? Why are we no longer making music that has that hook for a movie that is associated with the IP immediately?
I think there's been kind of a trend to what's called minimalism. Actually, Hans Zimmer composes in a style, and he's still great. However, there is a bit of a sacrifice when you write in this style, because the melody doesn't really have the emphasis. It's more about creating a mood, and it ends up sounding more like kind of background score, supportive to just.
So it's like an ambiance, like a soundscape instead of, okay.
Right. And that's just kind of been more of the trend in the last,
Well, I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm not as much a fan either. I like a good strong melody. I like to be able to hear the melody, know, oh, that's Leia's tune, or
I think it really started with television. All TV shows used to have a whole theme song and opening credits sequence that identified them, even the ones that didn't have, Gilligan's lyrics or whatever. But that all went away. And suddenly there we were in the midst.
The real key to Williams, I think, is that he's a master of leitmotif. And he developed particular themes for each individual character. And so part of the reason why that's so indelible for kids of my generation is that when you hear those particular motifs, it transports you back to the scene and the character at that time, which puts you in the movie seat as your 10-year-old self. And so it's got a hook that I think the modern stuff doesn't have, as you said, because you're getting a themed melody, but not necessarily the story itself in song.
Well, the proof of the pudding of that is go look at soundtrack records from 15 years ago. Half the tracks are named so-and-so's theme or somebody's theme, or, they're specific. In fact, Sergio Leone used to shoot, when they shot the original, the spaghetti westerns, they didn't really record a real soundtrack. They just recorded, and they actually played Morricone's music. He recorded it in advance, the music for the various characters, and played it on the set in a way that hadn't been done since the silence. When back in the silent era, they would have a string quartet or a piano player on the set playing music to give the actors motivation. But all of that's gone away.
Well, let me tell you, that simple question that we went through, I love that conversation. I am learning a lot and enjoying every part of that. Thank you so much. One thing I'm not enjoying so much.
Ha!
That guy, he's back. He won't stop. Wilton the Troll says, ooh, this is why I wasn't invited, except in a far more nasally and lispy way that would drive Steve Whitmire insane. But I have to say, folks, as much as we can't stand him, as much as he smells, he did a good thing last Friday. And we want to say a thank you to this community. Folks, as we've got closing in on 1,100 of you joining us tonight, and what a great thing to be able to share this time with 1,100 of you. Thank you even more that Friday night we raised more than $2,000 for a family in need. We try to do 2 or 3 charity streams a year, and you all came through. When we talk about this, we don't say, well, the Pro Channel raised, or we don't say, oh, Wilton raised. We would never say Wilton raised anything. He has tiny biceps. I'm not sure they even exist. But what do we say? The community. And we are blessed to have this community. It's the best. Thank you.
Go fund yourself, Bob.
No, it's not even contextually. It doesn't make sense in that moment. Thank you, Wilton. Get out of here. All right, we've got Spring 91 Bear, a.k.a. the Cherokee for 2. Did anyone see the Kevin Hart roast? Is this new? Did Kevin Hart get a new roast?
Yeah, it was last night.
Okay, I saw a clip from it, but I didn't click on it because I thought it was old. I didn't realize it was brand new.
No, it's new, and it's gnarly. Wow. Because it was on Netflix.
As in it goes too hard, you think in the paint, or what?
It's definitely it wouldn't make regular cable. Like, it couldn't be on normal television, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely got to be paid per view.
All right, I understand that. 10-4. We've got Silent Watcher out there for 5. I missed what YouTube is doing that is forcing you to do a face reveal. Well, there's 2 aspects to this, Silent Watcher. One is you have probably seen and heard that many channels are getting taken down, and they're being it's an AI issue. Well, not in the live shows, but when I do a video where I cover something, where I'm reading articles, there are times when it's just a frozen picture on top of an article, and I'm reading it, and then we do the B-roll and we do the segments and the segues and all that kind of stuff. But we want to make sure that we do this right. We've got millions of views. We've got lots of people who work on the team across the websites, across the YouTube channels. And boy, oh boy, what a mistake that would be if we toasted all of that because I won't go on camera. So we're going to fix that. We've got the studio built. We've been doing lighting tests recently. We could honestly turn the camera on right now and be just fine, but we're going to wait and do that at the end of May, and we're going to have a good time. The other part about this is not YouTube. It's that while I feel a tremendous weight about being more exposed to the world, because there are certain things we have to take into account when we do that. There are security issues, and all kinds of stuff. But I've always felt a tremendous need knowing that if I went on camera, there are things that I can do with the audience that I simply can't do right now. There are ways that I can be humorous and more available. And then there are public opportunities as well to get out there and go and be on other shows. And so we'll take all that in stride. Patrick, get away for 5. Lady Desiree, how about Sinatra doing Metallica?
That'd be fun.
Sinatra always needed Lars.
Unfortunately, Sinatra's not alive, but maybe you could plug it into AI or something and get him to sing a Metallica song.
You don't think we could get Lars to hop in and do double bass on a Sinatra song that already exists just for the fun of it?
Maybe.
New York, Paul for 12,000 for 2. Troll Raid. Under the Rock is here. Trolling away. Cruz, member for 25 months. Lou, do you know why Murphy Brown didn't have a theme song? Lou, are you there, Lou?
I pushed the wrong bouton. No, I don't specifically know. I know that in general, they wanted to get more show in and less music and like that. So, that was really the period where it started to happen that way. Hey, we can get 3 more jokes in if we don't have to listen to that damn song, even if it did work for Mary Tyler Moore and everybody else before us. So,
what did kick off the music craze with the theme song, Lou? What was the first one to do that?
You mean theme songs for TV shows?
Yeah, for sitcoms.
Well, golly, it was a way of setting up the story and explaining who the people were in a brief and fun way, and you had to show their faces and put their names on, saying starring. So what the hell?
Oh yeah. I was just thinking, somebody at some point had to say, "Guys, we're going to try this," and then it must have exploded. Whatever show it was that did it first. And
it really, in a way, goes back to radio, because in radio, they would mention the stars at the beginning as part of a theme song. Yeah. I think I told you my mother's first job in radio. My mother was an actress in radio, for those who don't know. When she was in high school, she got a job screaming on the radio. It was a show, one of these horror anthology shows, and it was called The Black Chapel. And every week was a different story, different cast, but it started off with, "This is Gong, the Black Gong Chapel." Ah! That was my mother. Live. And she did it twice. They did it for the East Coast. They all went out and had dinner. They came back and did the second show. And she made like $25 a week when she was in high school, which was
phenomenal.
And that's how she got started. So, those were the days.
Dr. RJ, it's good to see you, buddy. Member for 4 months. Remembering the Bus Orchestra in High Anxiety.
Oh, there you go. Well, I think that song, High Anxiety, that he does as Sinatra in the piano lounge there at the hotel, is one of the greatest Sinatra spoofs ever done. Ooh, anxiety, it's you that I fear. Key change, that whole Nelson Riddle arranging for Frank. It's fantastic.
We've got Cyrano. We've got Cyrano for 5. Another shortcut that some directors are using are licensing pop songs. Best mix of that was Forrest Gump 2. Many directors go all in, i.e. James Gunn.
Yeah. But of course, that also is about the decline, I would say, in prestige of the best original theme song thing in the Oscars and all the rest, because if all you're doing is recycling old music, there is no such thing. So,
and honestly, you can put Mr. Blue Sky in any movie that's happy at the end, and it's a win every single time. But you can only do it so many times. Anyway, all right, folks, let's get underway. There may be a huge spoiler that just slipped the lips of one Pedro Pascal when it comes to The Mandalorian. Look at Lauren down there. Look at him. He doesn't know where this is going. He's a little bit nervous about this. Lauren, do you know what I'm going to talk about in a minute? Do you know this one? Okay. I'm not sure if that's an affirmation or a negative.
It was a no.
Okay, you don't know.
I do not.
All right. Well, I can't wait to hear what you say about this one. Since we're running out of season for this, and since Pedro is pretty much toast after this movie, shall we one more time? I think we shall.
It's a super spring spritzel. Pedro's big year has Disney dropping. It's a super spring spritzel. Take down Star Wars, Avengers, oh please. They picked the wrong people. Even Bree said, nah, woke is collapsing. Theater snapping. It's a super spring spritzel. Oh, spring spritzel. Switch to Ryan Gosling.
All right, folks. Pedro Peepaw Pascal, the internet's daddy, may have just slipped up in a way that Lucasfilm is going to be mad at him. What is it? Well, get ready. I'll show you the pivot point right now from the Digital Spy by Devious Sony. Quote, have you said too much? Pedro Pascal dropped Star Wars spoiler ahead of The Mandalorian and Grogu. Should have just called him Baby Yoda. It's such a dumb name, Grogu. Anyway, Pedro Pascal has seemingly dropped a Star Wars spoiler ahead of the Mandalorian Grogu, the actor is set to appear as the former half of the titular duo in the upcoming movie. You know, it's only in movie articles we ever say the word titular. And can we retire the word titular? Everybody in favor of retiring the word titular, please stand up. Okay. Yes.
I really like titulars.
Oh my gosh. Which is a continuation.
Oh, boy, you sure set him up for that one.
I tried to move on.
I'm sitting here floundering for a Sidney Sweeney joke, and Lauren just jumps on it with both
he knows
titularities.
The accelerator. It's a continuation of the hit Disney Plus series, The Mandalorian, set after the fall of the Galactic Empire. Folks, if you don't know yet, come on, okay? We got it. We got it. Get to it story. Appearing on The One Show, Pascal addressed rumors that an iconic Star Wars family would be making a return when The Mandalorian Grogu hits our screens later this month. And then the pivot happens. So here's the quote, folks, after he says, yes, there will be an iconic Star Wars family returning. He says, yes, they do. Oh, we talking about the Hutts? He replied when asked about the alien species. And then he goes on and says, yeah, for someone my age, Return of the Jedi was probably the movie that I got most excited ever to have finally gotten tickets for, which is where Jabba the Hutt made his first appearance in the first act of the movie. It's this terrifying creature, and yet at the same time, you're fascinated by him, and it's a wonderful imprint. He says, I think it's so brilliant and original that Jon Favreau, that is, and Dave are bringing them to maybe making them central characters. The actor then looked slightly uncertain about his revelation, with presenter Alex Jones asking, have you said too much? But if he did make an on-screen blunder, Pascal managed to style it out, laughing as he replied, you never know in Star Wars land. Now, we can't play those one, folks, for copyright reasons, but we're reading it to you. And the key here is this point where he's asked about, is an iconic Star Wars family returning? And he says, yes, they do, and then switches to the Hutts. Here's where I find some difficulty on this one. I don't know that I would ever consider the Hutts to be an iconic Star Wars family. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Wiz, what do you think? Is Pedro slipping up here and saying that an iconic family that we would consider an iconic family is in Star Wars and then fixed it? Or do you think the whole time he thought iconic Star Wars family? Yeah, those darn Hutts, man. They're La Familia Hutt.
I think he's trying to. Go ahead, Lou.
Oh, all I was going to say is there's a sitcom I'd watch. Those darn Hutts.
It was worth it.
Don't give them any ideas, Lou, because they might do it. They're a little desperate right now. And I think he's going to say whatever he thinks he needs to say to sell this movie or drum up even the tiniest shred of interest.
Oh, wait. That's a great point. That's a great point. Wiz, are you saying that they're going to say iconic family just because then it puts that 1% in people's minds of, oh, Luke Lehan might be there. Gotta go see it.
It's possible. I think we saw it today for the first time. I didn't know this. I don't know if you guys know this. There is a Mandalorian and Grogu Bath and Body Works line. There is yes. There is a
Hallelujah.
Mandalorian and Grogu cologne set. They're each one Grogu, one Mando, each of them $65.
Oh,
so they're clearly there's Build-A-Bear. You go into your shopping mall and you're going to find every store has something Mandalorian and Grogu. They're going to say whatever they got to say to get butts in seats because that's how desperate they are right now.
I want to know if the Mando odor is with or without the armor having been on for hours.
Ooh.
We got a Force Flow candle here. We got Bounty Hunter. Looks very, very masculine. Force Flow body spray. Let's see. What else we got? Oh, look at that. You're right. It's a Grogu and Mandalorian pocket back holder. I don't know what that is.
Going. There's more.
My. Look at all the stuff you can get at Bath and Body Works. Which we're not sponsored by here on this channel.
It's it's Bath and Body Works. It's also Build-A-Bear. It's also Target. It's also Burger King.
Wait. One of them was listed already as a top seller. At this point, this plus stuff's been available for how long? A day or two? So it's like we sold 3 of these, so this is a top seller.
Actually, this really gives us something in terms of like who's buying this stuff. Top seller is Grogu Force Flow, Ultimate Hydration Body Cream. That's right. Are women really going to Bath and Body Works and being like, man, I got to get me some of that Grogu Hydration Body Cream?
The good news is it makes you moist. The bad news is it turns it green.
They pay extra for that.
All right.
Makes your ears kind of floppy too, but we won't go into that.
That's right. All right. So let's talk about this other aspect. So, you know, the Hutt thing came out. Maybe this is, maybe it's real. Maybe Pedro's talking about an iconic Star Wars family, the Hutts. But this clip came out and I don't sense that people like it. I think I can get away with 4 seconds of this. Where should we aim, guys?
I actually think you can watch this. Disney has been pretty lenient with this because, again, they're desperate for people to go see this movie.
Now, Wiz, here's the deal, folks. Wiz has protected this channel in ways seen and unseen. Wiz has been behind the scenes for years, I have found out. He doesn't even know I know this, but Wiz has been back there helping us way back in time before we ever knew a fake wizard even existed. So, Wiz, I'm going to take what you say.
Jump to the last 15 seconds and start from there. That's all you really need.
Last 15 seconds. Let's go with 38. Okay. Everybody ready?
Here.
All right. Here we go, folks. Here is the Hutts. The Hutts clip from Mando and Grogu. Here's what you can expect from modern Star Wars.
What if you all die?
It will bring us ecstasy to watch your strong spirit break.
Boy, is that exciting.
That was Wilkins.
Poop emojis.
All right. Well, Space
You notice
Slugs,
they didn't have any Hutt moisturizer on that list, did they?
They really should.
Don't you want skin like that, Lady Desiree? No, I don't think so.
I can't imagine the smell would be very good either, the scent.
Lauren, I have no idea, as the Star Wars guru, I have literally no idea what you think about this. I don't know if you're pleased, displeased. I don't know if you have lore to add to this. But the Hutts are apparently a big thing in The Mandalorian Grogu, like a really, really big thing. Lauren, your thoughts on what you just saw, and I'm sure you've seen the entire clip. What do you think?
So, do you remember these Hutts being seen before?
In a cartoon, I believe. Is that right?
No, they were actually in the Book of Boba Fett.
Right.
So they do have a history with Boba Fett and the Mandalorian. They made a claim on Jabba's palace and his territory that Boba Fett was trying to horn in on. But then they came to realize that the Pikes were trying to lay claim to the entire Mos Espa territory, so they backed off on their claim. So they are relatives of Jabba. They are his cousins. And they went back to Nal Hutta, which is going to be a major location in the movie. That's why they're being positioned as a major family. They have only appeared in the Book of Boba Fett before, so they don't have a long history here. But they are tied to an important family, and they do have history with the Mandalorians.
So now, wait a minute. Are you suggesting then that when we hear iconic family, that Disney intentionally is referring to these and not to the family that most people would think is the iconic Star Wars family?
No, in this case, I think Fake Wizard is absolutely right. He gave the best possible answer because it allows him to be playful. He gets to make a joke, and the audience can interpret it however they want. If that family does appear, then so much the better. But if they don't, he can laugh it off and say, look, I was just making a joke about these guys. And as you said, it drives additional interest in the movie and might get some more butts in seats. He gave the exact right answer if what you're trying to do is market the movie.
I'm feeling confident. Let's play some more.
Still priceless on the black market.
But what's even more is knowing we...
Okay, so here's going to be my critique of it. And you all tell me if I'm being too mean. And anybody on the panel, hop in on this. I miss the puppets. I don't think this looks great. I think this kind of looks like a PlayStation game. It comes across as something you would see in a Star Wars video game. The feeling of actual physical props, I think, is missing here. And I don't understand why the Hutts, and I'm not steeped in the lore. I'm not a Star Wars nerd. I didn't read every book. I'm just a guy who remembers what Jabba sounds like, and these sound like more effeminate, English-speaking, slug things. And I don't like it. I want Misa one hoko toko, ha, 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 ha. That's what I want from my Hutts.
Are these the gayest Hutts ever?
Oh, that's a great line. Andy, what do you think? You're a guy who builds a lot of stuff. Are we missing something with the CGI here?
Yeah, I think there were 6 people operating the Jabba puppet, and somehow they still managed to give it personality and expressions and a feel for its actual being. This is just they look like more about Bill Paxton and Weird Science than they do Hutt's. And Hutt's, since when did Hutt speak English? Like the part of the whole mystique of the Hutts is they had their own language, and you had to read the subtitles because they're aliens and they should be alien, and it shouldn't just be so easy for you to read to listen to it rather than read the subtitles. It should have a more unearthly feel to it, to give it that it was almost like if you ever watched The Third Man, old Orson Welles movie, there's a lot in there where they're speaking German and a couple other languages in Austria and stuff, and it adds to the isolationist feeling of the audience, because you don't understand what's going on. You're kind of like lost in there, just like the American is in the film, and it adds something to that. And Lucas got that. Lucas understood when he was making like the cantina scene, and you had different languages. You had the Jawas just kind of like making their little sounds and things, and the droids had their own language. I think when you just bland it down, you dumb this stuff down to such a point where it doesn't resemble Star Wars. And I think that's the whole problem with it. We've been saying for the longest time is that they don't get Star Wars, and that's why it doesn't feel like Star Wars, because they don't get Star Wars.
So I am going to point something out here that is a lore thing, just because that's what I'm here to do. Most Hutts can speak Basic. Most of the time, they don't do so because it's an arrogance thing. They like to put the people that they're dealing with on the back foot. Now, we know that the Mandalorian can speak Huttese, so there is that element where it might not make sense for them to be speaking Basic here if they know that he can speak it. But I'd also note that I'm not seeing any protocol droid on that dais, and there may be other people in the audience. So I think there's an explainable reason for why they may not be, or why they are speaking Basic and not Huttese here. And especially because in the Book of Boba Fett, they did speak Huttese and it was subtitled. So I suspect there probably is a reason. We just don't know it yet.
I also think, if I may, I think this is marketing because they know you're not going to read the subtitles. I think in the actual film, they will be speaking Huttese, and I hope I'm right. They'll be speaking Huttese in the film, and it'll be subtitled. This is just a marketing clip.
What do you guys think on that? I don't know. I hadn't thought of that. I hadn't thought that they would put it in English or in normal human language in the promos and then switch it in the movie.
Basic.
Yeah. Which is like a programming language, I had thought. But okay, I'm in Star Wars now. I'm with you guys. Okay, so Lady Desiree, they're trying to market this to people who are not traditional Star Wars people. They're telling us, too, that, hey, there's the family that might show up. Who knows? Maybe it's the Hutts. But I want to show this to you. And Lady Desiree, have you seen this yet?
No.
Okay, you're going to love it. This is the Lucasfilm marketing team's effort to get people to go see The Mandalorian Grogu. I'm going to play it for you. And then these guys, they're not going to slam it. They're not going to praise it. I want you as a woman, as a lady, as the singular person who can help us see the light on the panel. We need to know, because we're dudes who we used to go see Star Wars, and this doesn't do it for us. Oh, I've given it away. I need to know if you think this is something that's working for Disney or not. Here, we'll play it, and you see what you think.
Star Wars fans, you're not going to want to miss this in IMAX.
We just saw the preview for Mandalorian and Grogu. I have not been this excited in a long time.
It was incredible to see Star Wars back on the big screen.
There's no other way to watch it, no better way to see it.
It felt like being 11 in the theater with my dad.
And it also just reminds you why you fell in love with Star Wars in the first place.
You will be oohing and awing at the action, at the duo, and most importantly, at Grogu. And it just never stopped.
Everything about it was so much fun.
It's truly a Star Wars movie for the next generation.
I can't wait to come back time and time again.
This is the way.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, is this the way? Do you think this is a successful marketing campaign from Lucasfilm? All the stuff we've been covering. What say you?
I mean, if they're trying to market to families, I don't know why they didn't have any more kids reactions.
It's what I've
Like
wondered.
they seemed all like adults that weren't grown up. Honestly, many of the people tried to be nice, but
This is my assessment. Yes.
yeah, it's that it seemed like they were marketing towards a specific demographic, which
I
is
don't
live
understand
in your
how
mom's basement.
I don't understand how that demographic can sustain a Star Wars film. I don't understand why there's not, family after family of 12-year-old little boys with mom and dad, raising their lightsaber in there and saying, "I love Star Wars." Like, that's what I would do. I don't understand why they're not doing that. Makes no sense to me.
Probably because the people that are going to go are going to be those exact people, and then they're just not going to. I don't know. I have a lot of friends with families. I've got kids, and I don't really know anyone that's excited over Star Wars.
We need to get that fixed. They need to fix that because this was a cultural thing that they slayed, and it should not have been. Lauren, I'm going to turn it to you for the final question. Are you ready?
Sure.
Chances that we now see Luke or Leia or Han or anybody from the original trilogy in this movie?
I'm thinking no, actually. I think it would have been wise for them to try to do so, but I'm still not thinking that it's going to be that kind of movie. I think it's kind of what people have speculated, and it's going to be a self-contained, small adventure, relatively low stakes. I have been going back through the original seasons of all the shows just to get caught up before the movie comes out, so I've done my research. I have a little bit more insight, I think, into how they can split some things off, so there is some potential for some of that with the storyline that they're pursuing, but I don't think they're going to pull the trigger on that yet. I think they're still... I think they're still...
What are they waiting for? I mean, we're at the precipice of the death of the franchise. I mean...
They are, but I think they wanted to see, can you continue forward with The Mandalorian as a verse? Remember, Jon Favreau had that meeting with Dave Filoni this week. There was also the meeting with Disney corporate leaders that we talked about. And I think that's when they're actually making the decisions. I think that looking at the box office projections of this movie, they have made their determination now, but they didn't do that before the movie came out. And so I suspect that the Mandoverse is likely dead. Now the question is, what are they going to do next?
Yeah, I mean, the latest box office projections, they've increased the first weekend. They're at now. I think now they're saying it's 90 to 100. Maybe it was lower. Maybe the floor was lower than 90. But the latest projections, 100 is the ceiling for the Memorial Day weekend. And the problem is they've dropped the hold on it. So they're now estimating it's got a 2.25, which is horrendous.
60 to 70 is what I'm expecting. I don't think it's going to do any more than that.
Well,
Do you think they are aware of like the audience that they lost when they got rid of Gina?
I think
that's when I stopped watching. I was watching everything.
I think they resent that audience, a large part of them.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure. I'm just curious. I just personally, I'd be curious what the drop off was, because to me that was the point where I was like, I'm just done, and I wouldn't even play. Even when Mandalorian was requested to play the tune, I was like, I don't even want to play the tune anymore. I was so like just done with it at that point.
Let me throw an audacious number out there, and you all see what you think. I'm going to say 70%. I'm going to say 70% exited after Mando season 2. And maybe it wouldn't be that high. Maybe Gina didn't push it to 70, but season 3 sure did.
Well, that's actually a point I wanted to make, which is that I think it depends on how you're counting that 70%. If you're saying when they let Gina go, they hit that 70%, or are you talking about 70% of what they had left of people who had left before they got rid of Gina? There's a couple of different things here. One of the things that was blatantly obvious to me going back through all of the Mandalorian, I've watched it all. Mandalorian seasons 1, 2, and 3, Book of Boba Fett, everything leading up to the movie. It's so painfully obvious in season 3 of The Mandalorian that the mandate was, we got rid of the strong female character that we did not like, but it will be completely unacceptable not to have a strong female character, but it's going to be our strong female character. And that is exactly why The Mandalorian became the Bo-Katan show in season 3.
So awful.
They contrived such a convoluted way to break their own rules that they had already established in order to make her the strong character that leads her people back to Mandalore to retake it and to become the Mandalore. They had already described why that sequence of events could not occur. They had to contrive an entirely unrealistic way to pass the Darksaber to her. It's nonsense, but it was because to them, a Star Wars show without a strong female character was completely unacceptable, and they jettisoned the one they didn't like.
And ultimately, folks, what are we trying to say with this entire segment? Of course, go out and buy Mandalorian Grogu Force Flow Cologne at Bath & Body Works. You got to have it today. The ladies will go gaga over Grogu on you. And we've come to that point in the show, folks, where we must do the sad part of letting yet another panelist go. Fake Wiz with his fake soda brand. Wiz, only you can save Star Wars now. It's up to you on YouTube.
I don't know about that. That's a lot of responsibility. I don't want to. I don't want to, bro.
Take a break on Angel Studios, man. Go after Star Wars. Fix the thing. Come on.
Oh, I don't know. We'll
Fake Wiz,
see.
What you cooking up over on your YouTube channel, man?
Well, I just did a video covering the whole mixtape controversy, which is being astroturfed to high heaven by the gaming apparatus. That's a pretty important one. Check that out. But we'll see. There's a lot of stuff to be covered. But until next time, my friends, I've got to bounce. But I'll see you all very soon. All right, take care.
Later, Wiz.
Bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we continue on with the show extraordinaire. And because all of you out there are truly debonair, here we go. And my, oh my, what time? We've got only 6 more super chats to go, folks, before the end of the show. And we got one more segment. We can do this. Q&A on the way. And I know people have lots to ask of Lady Desiree, of Andy, of Lauren, of Lou. And, I'll take a backseat because these people are so great at what they do. Kayla for 5, I request a rewind of the Spring Spritzel Culture Edition. Oh, poor Culture. You want to put Culture Casino in the Spritzel? Oh, boy. We'll see. We'll see. Bad News Badger for 50 crowns. Sing us a song. You're the piano girl. Sing us a song tonight. We doing Billy Joel?
I do Billy Joel.
What's your favorite Billy Joel?
I mean, it is. I probably Piano Man, but I really like "Good Night, My Angel." Do you know that one?
Yeah.
It's a little lullaby. It's very pretty.
I like. Well, for fun, I like Uptown Girl.
Yeah, Uptown Girl.
And what's the sad song? What's the sad song about letting somebody into your heart after it's been broken? What is that song by Billy Joel?
There's the she can da 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 da, she can something something. She's always a woman. That one? Oh,
Heart of Mine. Hang on, I'm looking up. Hang on. It's what is that one? And so it goes. And so it goes.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah. If folks, I'm not saying this has happened to me, but if you're out there and you've just broken up with anybody, it is not the time to play "And So It Goes" by Billy Joel. It is not the time. Amish Warlord out there for $4.99. Boy, the song references just keep on a-coming. I like big Hutts and I cannot lie. You other Jabbas can't deny. What do slugs do? They don't walk in. When a slug slimes in with a
glide. They glide.
No, they slime. Archer for 2. Guys, stop making fun of Lizzo's Hutt cameo. Oh, now, poor Lizzo has done such a good job of getting into better form, I would say. She's doing such a good job. And to all of those out there who are working hard to make yourselves better physically, way to go, everybody. Way to go. We're proud of you. Donovan, member for 10 months to the panel. Favorite movie, so bad it's good.
Ooh.
Favorite movie, so bad it's good.
Ooh, so many.
So bad it's good. I'm trying to think. What's one that is just terrible that I still enjoy?
Oh, I know the one. For me, it's McKenna's Gold, by far. Old Turkey Buzzard, with a cast of huge proportion in one of the worst movies ever made.
All right.
I don't know if I'd call this a bad movie. It was a low budget movie. Tremors.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
that was good. That was fun.
I'm going to say I might say there's a part of me that wants to say Garbage Pail Kids, but it's really not watchable still, even then. So I'm going to go with maybe Howard the Duck.
Yeah, that's a good contender.
Do
You got to be in the right mood.
Do you remember the Radioland Murders?
No, I don't remember that one.
That was an obscure George Lucas flick that I think got a bad rap. It's better than what everybody said.
Anybody else on the panel want to throw one in? What's a terrible movie, but you enjoy it?
I saw the second Mission Impossible recently, and it was so bad.
Yeah, well, the first one was no great shakes either. They got better as they went along.
Yeah,
But I happened to attend a restored version of North by Northwest thing at the Alex Theater in Glendale, and Martin Landau was there, and it was right when the first movie had come out, and people were asking him about Mission Impossible. And he said, on our show, we all liked each other and we cared about each other. This show, they're killing each other off in the first 10 minutes. So he didn't really want anything to do with it. So he declined the chance of a cameo.
Yeah, I saw the second movie recently, and it was so bad, but we just made fun of it the whole time, and it was actually pretty funny. So
I've got another idea for one. I think going back and watching it now, it's probably a bad movie. Patch Adams. I think that's probably a bad movie now, but I like it, even though I think it's a bad movie. Is that Ernest? No, I've got it. It's Ernest Goes to Camp or any of the Ernest movies. They're terrible, but I love them all. Ernest Goes to Camp. That's the winner. Dr. RJ for 2. The light bulb clicked on in my head, and I was like, no, those are terrible, and they're great. Dr. RJ for 2. Put Pedro's helmet on. He's scaring the Hutts. Poor little Hutts. Bad News Badger for 50 crowns. The ambiance is off. They are slugs. The Slum Cantina band vibes put a jolly to an otherwise gloomy scene. This clip is, I don't know, bland?
Yeah.
With you there. Joppy, it's good to see you. 200 crowns. Can you please say which date the next member panel is? I see. Hang on, Joppy. I can't be watching YouTube all day, every day, just in case I miss it, and it wears me out. I don't get notified for live streams, just vids and the invite, which I miss. Joppy, let me look right now at the calendar, and I'll tell you when the next member live stream is going to be. Joppy, the next member live stream will be the 27th. The 27th of May, Wednesday night, May 27th, after the normal show, we'll have member exclusive time. All right, we've got Bad Hombre Berkey for 10. Perhaps they are speaking basic because of no institutional memory. That little bit of trailer is blah. I'm not like hanging with those reactors. Desiree is right. Single celibate cosplayers.
I would argue against that explanation just because they did speak Huttese in the Book of Boba Fett. So
I'm also getting pushback on Patch Adams. People are saying Patch Adams is a great movie. What are you talking about? I don't know. I got to go. I haven't seen it in 20 years. I got to go back.
I got to share an experience that Lauren and I have had along with Hangry doing the genre guys. We'll pick a movie that we all fondly remember and we'll watch it again and find out, you know what? It was of its time, but it ain't that great anymore. And so a lot of these pictures that we have memories of, if you watch them again today, you find that they are interesting as a slice of the time they came out in and were made in, but not that great. So that's just.
And then some movies hold up in ways that you were not expecting.
Yeah, right. So sometimes it's vice versa. There's a bunch that we've gone to where I had a memory of not enjoying this picture and then came back and found that it was like a completely new movie. And a lot of times that's because of the attitude that you bring into the theater with you. Sometimes you're just not in the right mood for a movie and you don't realize it until you see it a second time.
Right.
That's why Lauren watched Pee-wee's Big Adventure and called me and said, how did this hold up this way? I can't believe it. Snarky for 499. The actress that plays Bo-Katan didn't even understand the character she was playing, said so herself.
True, but that was in reference to season 3 specifically. She even understood that they had altered her character in such a way that she no longer knew how to connect with it.
FTM 22 for 5. Leia, dead. Han, dead. Luke, dead. Jake, dead. Star Wars in general, dead. El muerto. Simple as that. Move along. Move along. You know, I understand it's going to be really, really hard for them to bring it back because they got to fix the sequel trilogy, and then they don't have an anecdote because you can't go back and redo this. Everybody's either gone or too old to play the parts. England DG for 2. King's Singer's version, And So It Goes, is the best. There you go. I haven't heard that. I'll have to go check it out. Snarky for 499. Spaceballs. So there, Lou.
Well, there you go.
Is this the best of the bad? Spaceballs?
I just never got into it somehow. But we'll see what the new one's like. I don't know.
Maybe. Could be. We'll see. Cannon Barnes for 10. I need to correct y'all. Dave Filoni has directed a theatrical film, Star Wars The Clone Wars 2008. Budget of $8.5 million with a final box office of $68.5 million. George's last film under his control. Yeah, you know, we often... Go ahead.
I'm going to play a Nuno reverse card here and also correct you slightly. The Clone Wars was not intended to be a theatrical film. It was actually 4 episodes of The Clone Wars that they stitched together into a theatrical release, which was then put into theaters.
Did Filoni help? Did he help piece it together, or was this totally in post-production? Somebody said, we're releasing these 4 episodes.
I think that they were all intended to be stitched together this way. I think that they had already produced the season and were trying to figure out which area do we want to release for a feature. They decided on these, but it was those were essentially episodic episodes stitched together. And there's real obvious breakpoints. You can tell where it was.
So you're saying that via technicality, we remain correct?
I think both are, because it was a theatrical release and he did direct it, but it was not intended to be a theatrical release. And I think when most people are talking about Filoni, they're also talking about directing live action. The only live action stuff that he's directed has been Ahsoka, and that was no great shakes. So there's some nervousness attached to him doing a movie.
Ahsoka, woof. Archer Merchant for 2, Acolyte 2 with Blind Met Zegler. Archer, what are you doing, buddy? There are lines we don't cross, okay? Paul 12,000 for $5. The Hutts, being some sort of giant slug, what do you think would happen to them if you sprinkle salt all over them? Nothing, or shrivel up and die?
Not technically sure, but I'll bet it would make them more tasty.
Ew.
I don't want to try
More
that.
tasty than what?
Than what they would be without it.
Little soy sauce on your Hutt, eh? Kaylee for 5. Pro, Turtle Paratroopers and Exeronius.
Eating Hutts would put the ooh in umami. Let's put it that way.
All right, folks, it's time to dive into the final story, and we're having a good time. We're having a great time. We're going to be sending you for even more good times after this segment to that game place where Marvin is going to be playing Pragmatic. And folks, we want to say a thank you to for helping us hit that goal tonight. We'll be doing a Q&A session after this next segment. And Lauren will tell the folks how to do this. They just type in Q&A in the chat, like I have done if you're watching us on YouTube. If you're on X, you'll have to come on over here to do the Q&A. But Q&A, and Lauren, let's take 12 tonight. Is that okay?
Yep.
Joppy for 50 crowns. Idiocracy. It was prophetic and yet still so bad. And
it was a
so great.
documentary, Joppy. I mean, it turned out to be anyway.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, let's dive into the final story. And we're going to be talking about something that came across the wires earlier today, just as we were prepping the show. It is that the president of Walt Disney World stepped down, and I think I know why. We'll bring it to you right now. The leader of Walt Disney World, the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse in Florida, is stepping down. Jeff, and everybody pronounces his last name differently. Is it Vale? Is it Vale? Is it Valley? We've heard it everywhere there is.
Well, we won't be pronouncing his name much anymore. Let's put it that way.
Walt Disney World President Jeff, we'll just leave it at Jeff, announces retirement as Epic Universe success grows. We're covering this, folks, out of thatparkplace.com. Walt Disney World is heading for a leadership change at one of the most consequential moments in Central Florida theme park competition in decades. Jeff president of Walt Disney World Resort, announced that he will retire this summer after 36 years with Disney, saying he will remain in the role through late July. Disney has not yet announced a successor. The retirement comes on the heels of Mr. Jeff not receiving the coveted role of replacing Josh D'Amaro when he became the CEO. Vale Vale reframed the move as the close of a long Disney career that began as an engineer at Magic Kingdom. In his announcement, he said he is wrapping it up while leading Walt Disney World through a period of remarkable growth, and pointed to upcoming projects including Cool Kids Summer, Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets, and the updated Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. His tenure at Walt Disney World began in 2020. It goes on to talk about some of the accolades that he's had. But we've got some interesting things here. They just announced that attendance has dropped at Disney World, and attendance at Epic Universe and Universal Studios, of course, is breaking records. And the attendance in Florida, tourism, is breaking records. So this happens with that sort of as the backdrop. The other part of this, let me see if here we go. The other backdrop of this is the question becomes, did destroying Muppet Vision 3D, destroying Rivers of America, the poor implementation of Tiana's Bayou Adventure and beyond doom Mr. Jeff? And I got to say, I think it did, along with the fact that when people are hearing about the new stuff coming to Disney World, they say, I don't care about that. Who cares about that, right? Versus Epic Universe, this has been a total letdown. So I want to hand it to the panel right now. And Lou, I guess I'll start with you on this as an avid theme park lover.
36 years. 36 years is a long career. And he might have said to himself, with the way things are going, when we catch up, which I firmly believe we will, and surpass Universal, it'll be another 36 years, and I won't live that long. Who knows what other pressure may be on him to spend more time with his family, as the standard explanation usually goes. So, it couldn't hurt that everybody else is eating his lunch, but he wasn't alone in having that happen. I think he just looked at the future and said, the future's going to be a lot of catch up, and that's not the thing I want to do. So,
well, the other thing is,
I don't know him. I don't have any idea,
The other thing is, it's undeniable that it was just weeks ago that somebody else, that the head of Disneyland, was promoted to the head of Disney Parks and Experiences.
Well,
and Jeff didn't get the job. And so maybe he said, if I'm not the guy that you want to be in the lead of all this, I'm running the thing that's 40 square miles large. If I'm not the guy to take over after Josh leaves, then I'm going home. And that's a possibility. Maybe he goes to work somewhere else.
All of this has been predictably pre-planned long before Josh took over by everybody involved. They know who they're putting where. And if they don't, it's very frightening.
Very frightening indeed. Now, the thing about Disney World right now is that it is not going well. Wall Street, I think, is a little perturbed about this as well. The fact that attendance is down, but guest spending is way, way up. Because what that could mean is we're at the precipice of sort of a cliff where families say, a lot of us aren't going anymore, and I'm going to stop going too because it's so darn unaffordable. Andy, what are your thoughts on the idea that Universal Studios is breaking records with attendance, Disney World dropping, and now they've lost their prez?
Is Disney run by the White Star Line? I mean, I think it's clear that they hit the Titanic, and instead of getting to the lifeboats, they're arguing over who's going to get the silverware. And they're really not doing anything to save the ship. It's a bunch of people kind of scrambling to point the blame at somebody else, and no one's been steering it. For what, 10 years now, since what's it been since Endgame came out? Because I think that's the last time that they really had a win. And since then, they've destroyed Marvel, which was their cash cow. They've destroyed Lucasfilm, which is a cash cow. The number one thing in merchandising, it redefined how movies were making money through merchandise, and they ran it into the ground. People think that that's stupidity. That takes talent to really ruin something that badly. It's not just random. You really have to apply yourself to destroy it that way. The parks, they saw Universal upscaling and working and improving things for about 10 years. Now they're still sitting there with twirling things around on a stick, thinking that they have the nostalgia will get people going. I've been saying this for a while, that Universal is aiming towards the future, what generations of kids that have grown up on video games and different IPs like. And Disney thinks that, well, we're Disney, we have princesses that people are going to want to see forever. And I think that's just not true. I think that's a failed premise that they're running into. And I don't think that there's anybody in there that has the will to really correct it, because it has to cause a lot of pain to actually fix it. You're going to have to fire a lot of people, and a lot of people that will make the decisions about who gets fired are the people that should be fired. So that's going to be another problem there.
The other thing I hope this represents is an end to every square inch of this place has to be monetized. So Desiree, I don't know if you followed the Rivers of America situation at all, but Disney has destroyed huge parts of their parks now at Walt Disney World. The ones that provided ambiance but didn't provide a direct extra cash cow. So unless you can attach, a skip the line feature, or we can put a bar in it, it's like, burn it down. Let's move on. Let's go to something else. And what that's done is it's completely transformed Disney into just a giant retail mall, a super expensive retail experience that, costs thousands of dollars to get into. I hope that's the end of this. Desiree, what are some things you'd like to see in the future, with places like Walt Disney World as new leadership comes in?
Well, I've been a huge Disney World fan. I've been countless times living in Florida, and I think what they need to do is they need to return to the vision of Walt Disney and his focus on the traditional family and how important it was. And they've lost that, they just lost that spirit. If they can try and make that the focus again, then I think that, they could win people back, but I don't think they're going to do that, because I don't think that's part of the agenda at all to rally around family values.
Do you still go to the Disney World, to the theme parks?
I have a family member who has a very important role at Disney that I cannot say.
Desiree, if you would provide us the exact character this family member plays and where they are in the parks, that would be.
They are extremely strict on this sort of thing.
They're a friend of. I'm kidding.
But it's, I'll be honest with you, I get very conflicted about it, because for one, I still love so much. Like I'm the kind of person that tears up on Small World. Okay. Like I know all about Mary Blair and the artwork, and I love so much of the old Disney stuff. And so I'm extremely conflicted, because I do feel like a lot of times, if you really want change to happen, you can't support with your money, with your wallet, and so it's very difficult for me. And I have a hookup on top of that to get into Disney. So I have gone occasionally, but every time I go, I'm like, is this the right thing? And I have a little moral crisis over it.
Have you been to Epic yet?
I have not. And I really, really want to go to Epic.
My observation is that when you go to Epic, it's at such a different level of incredible. And the problem for Disney is what's behind those construction walls. So maybe this is why Jeff had to go. What's behind those construction walls is not exciting in comparison to what already exists at Epic. There is nothing that they are building at Disney, so far as I can tell, that's going to compete with what already exists with their main competitor. And that's why, by the time they bring out their expansions, Epic is going to have their brand new expansions as well. So they're responding to something where the response they're giving is to the thing that will actually be improved by the time Disney gets around to doing it.
Pro, you have to differentiate between running the park and Imagineering. Imagineering says, we've got this idea for a great new attraction and we want to put it here. How much yes, no, or maybe, or input does the guy running the park have? Or is he then handed that and told, well, you're going to need this much staffing and you'll have this much retail and make some money out of it?
Well, Jeff is over both. Jeff, the president of Disney, is over both of those. Actually, Imagineering is hired by Walt Disney World to come in and do whatever it is that the leadership at Disney World is telling them to do, and they have.
But where does the inspiration
autonomy
start? Does it start at the Disney World end, or does it start at the Imagineering end?
Depending on the history of the Disney company, that has shifted over time. As of most recently, the way it has worked is that the individual theme parks and their presidents have been largely the ones who make the requests. But you are right. So, and there's an exception to that too. So, like Tiana's Bayou Adventure, I'm told that one was just mandated from the top. Like everybody's switching it, and nobody argued, because who's going to argue with that one given when it happened? And you know how corporations work.
Sure.
Lauren, I would say though that when I heard that the guy running Disneyland was going to get the job for Parks and Experiences, I knew this was going to happen. You know, it's been said before that usually Disney World is the gig you get before you go to the big show of being in charge of Parks and Experiences, the entire thing. And so I think
Which
it was
makes
insulting.
sense. Corporately, it's their biggest moneymaker, for goodness sakes.
Right. And it's much bigger than Disneyland in terms of all the operations.
Sure.
So, Lauren, I already thought that he had lost the vote of confidence, you know, and whoever's going to take the blame on Disney World, it's not going to be Josh tomorrow. He's not taking the blame. So somebody had to take the blame for where it is right now.
Yeah, and I think you can even separate it from blame. It's just the matter of, okay, if there's no room for advancement up at the top, then what are you going to do? Are you just going to sit here forever, or are you going to make some kind of lateral move?
And whoever the new guy is, he's got nowhere to go but up.
Right. Well, and Jeff is not, 10 years maybe until the next shot, and he's retiring now. So, yeah.
Yeah, it'll go to somebody probably a little younger and a little hungrier, just because by the time tomorrow is out, he'll have got some seasoning under his belt and ready to slot into that spot. You don't want somebody too old, because they wouldn't be able to lead the company for a long time, and the stock market's not going to like that. So I would bet whoever does come in will be a younger buck, but has got probably a relatively spotless reputation. I don't know who that would be. You guys would know more of the personalities than I would, but that's where I would be looking.
I'll be honest, I really don't know who they're going to move into. There are so many options to move into that next spot, and we just vacated the Disneyland spot. So that's why I don't know who's going to replace Jeff in this case. Andy, any final thoughts on Disney World and where it is versus Epic right now?
They're going to have that top spot for a while, because it's still something that people have heard about. It's the legend of Disney World that people want to go see. I think there won't be that many return visits. I used to go a lot when my kids were smaller back in the early 2000s, and I had a great time, and I was happy to see it at that peak. In time since, when we've gone down there, Universal has outshone it, and originally when I was going down there, Universal was dirtier. It was like the maintenance wasn't as good, but lately, the last few times I've been there, it's been just the opposite. It's there's nothing broken down in Disney World. There's things broken down. Trash has always been kept up on. It's clean, but it's just not the same experience anymore. Like you said, they're behind the eight ball, and the biggest problem is they're playing catch up now. They're not leading. They're not coming up with new ideas. They're trying to say, what did they do? What can we do to top that, instead of coming up with a new and fresh idea?
I'll tell you.
And during the talk we had after the earnings call the other day, we mentioned their mention of 13 cruise ships by the time they get done with their current plans. And I said, how does that cannibalize the experience of going to the parks?
Yep.
And if you follow that logic through to its natural end, they're competing with themselves. They're competing with themselves, and in not a good way, because it's all so expensive. Now, if you had a package deal of a 3-day cruise and a 3-day Disney World trip that was affordable, boy, that's a big competition point for Universal, but not like it is now.
And I think the margins are better at the theme parks than the cruise lines, although you never know what will happen in the future. I will say to those who watch the channel, who are inside the parks, and we know there's a bunch of you out there who you love watching the Pro Channel, you love that park place, we got that. For those of you watching from Universal who heard Andy say nothing's broken, we want to salute those of you who are in maintenance, because we know, we hear, we got sources, okay? We know that Epic is one heck of a nightmare for you maintenance people, as you keep all these wonderful, beautiful, brand new things running the way they're supposed to be. So kudos to all of you, and keep going, because look what it's doing. You're winning.
And such is true with any new thing, because it isn't, well, last time it broke, we did this and that worked. There is no last time. It's all new.
It's always a first time for everybody at Epic. Boy, oh boy, folks, it is a joy to get to do what we do. Let me tell you, it is a privilege like you can't believe. It's a dream come true to say, what do you do? We gather together to talk about important things, about entertainment, about pop culture, about where our society is and what we enjoy. We have people who show up and have a good time with us, and the greatest panels in the world. Even better tonight because of Miss Lady Desiree. Thank you for coming our way. And Miss Lady Desiree, for those who don't know, could you share one more time, please, where you are and what you do so that they can find you?
Sure. I live stream a Rumble and on Kick, Lady Desiree. And I have a piano show. I take live requests and conversation.
There you go, folks. And let me see if I can get the Rumble shared up. Press this button, press that button. 3, 2, 1. Hey, it works. There you go, folks. Go check out Lady Desiree Music on Rumble. I think that's your lead platform, you said?
Yes.
All right. Phenomenal stuff, folks. Go check it out today and subscribe. All right, Lauren, we've got Q&As, and let's see. Do we have super chats? Let's get the super chats out of the way first. We got a few of these. Bad Hombre Berkey for 5. Smoke Jumper. Howie Long. As a wildland firefighter, it was a laugh. Premiered in Missoula for the actual Smoke Jumper Center. Hilarity ensued. So you were not sure I'd get Missoula right. I knew how to say it. Okay. England DG for 2. If only he had sold more booze and popcorn buckets. Okay. I will say in his defense, I think this is, again, that part's coming from the top is we got to get the margins. In fact, I think this is Josh tomorrow. We got to get the margins. How do we get the margins? We got to sell the booze, baby. Booze them up. Archer Merchant for 10. Maybe they're getting out before the fires from Big Thunder spreads or any bad PR. Stock is going back down. Disney talking outsider contracts for the security in California, et cetera. It's getting worse. Desiree, did you see that Big Thunder reopened after being down for 18 months, and day one there was a fire that broke out, and the whole attraction had to be evacuated? And
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Embarrassing on the PR side.
We fixed it all up, and it caught fire. How about that?
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Wildest, hottest ride in the wilderness. Rogues Gallery Wingnut, member for 32 months. I remember making a comment in 2016 about Disney being a slow motion car crash. I'm wondering when it finally stops. Well, some are thinking that Josh is putting the brakes on that and fixing it. We don't know yet. We'll have to ride along and see what happens. All right, Lauren, it's your turn. Take over the Q&A and let's see what the folks say.
Blue Sharky 38. When Pedro is finally gone, who will be starring in the next Summer Sizzle? I've got a theory on this. I want to hear if you're going to tell it.
It says it right in the lyrics. You all know who's going to be next.
That's what I thought. I was right.
Unless Zegler makes a comeback and we're forced to cover Zegler as part of, you know.
I'll take that bet.
What is your favorite animal?
Well, all right. We haven't been asked.
Is it sitting there with you right now?
I would want a clarifying statement first. For what purpose? That's actually important.
All right, we're going to separate this for Lauren only. Lauren, what is your favorite animal to consume, and what's your favorite animal to not consume?
Well, okay. Chicken to consume, probably a slug not to consume.
Oh, wait a minute. Well, that's not what I meant by that. What's your favorite animal to spend time with?
Oh, well, right now I have an elderly black cat who I love dearly. So right now I would probably answer a cat.
There you go. All right, Desiree, what do you say?
Oh gosh. I love them all. Right now I'm really into birds. I'm like bird watching all the time, like an old grandma. It's great.
All right, to the birds. Andy?
My dog, Jack. Years ago would have been my horse, but I had to get rid of her. So.
And Lou?
To eat the mighty beef. To watch from afar, because I'm allergic to everything. We actually have a whole nest of cardinals right under our kitchen window that we're watching every day, and that's kind of fun.
You lucky dog.
Can I tell you too? I had a cardinal make a nest in my rose bush right outside my window, my piano room, and so it was the most amazing experience the last couple of weeks. Like I can't tell you how much I loved it.
Yeah, it's happening here right now.
Yeah, it was
That
great.
is just too good. All right, I'm going to give you two answers. Answer number one, I think the giraffe is a very cool animal because of the physiological complexities of that neck. Live stream buffering. Folks, if you're on X, you're still watching us. Looks like we just cleared up. Folks, nope, we are buffering still live. Who knows? Who knows? All right, well, we'll keep going. We'll keep going.
I was confused initially because I thought you were giving the animal that you would consume, and you started off with giraffe. It's like, whoa, you have an exotic palate, sir.
Try the giraffe stuff. It's delicious.
I'm telling you, their hearts are weird. Their lungs are weird. Everything about the animal is just bizarre. All right, and then the other animal I'll tell you is the fennec fox. Those little guys, go watch videos of people who keep those things. That is the happiest animal on the planet Earth. But they're so happy, I don't know how you could possibly handle them. They're just so like manically happy that their owners have arrived.
Did you know that that is where the Star Wars character Fennec Shand got her name and some of her costume design?
I believe it. I believe it. There you go.
Chief William Schweigert. Culture, Marvin, Lauren, and Jonas all have their own videos. When will Andy get his? And will it include Harvey and Doomcock?
Well, that would need permission from said Harvey and Doomcock. We would never want to cross the line there, but Andy, I'm sure, can ask about that. But we have lots of stuff we still have to do. Lou doesn't have an intro, so we got to get that stuff going. And I think this year has a lot of fun in store.
Cape Canaveral 81. The Flying Saucer Files have been met with a collective yawn. Got my family to wondering, has there been a really popular space invasion flick since ID4 way back in 96?
Not really.
Not that I can think of.
Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
No.
There you go.
Nah. Popular.
Shush you.
You don't like it either, don't you even? You can't stand that movie.
I do too.
You like the Crystal Skull.
I do. I think it's
I
got
like
some
the first
major...
one third.
Okay.
When he rides the motorcycle, when the stunt work on the motorcycle move and on the campus is incredible. And I remember I was so frustrated because I was like as happy as I could be. Indy was back. I was like, this is great. And then we went to the Incan temple or whatever it was down in the ground in Peru. And just after that, it all falls apart.
Came
and I
to
went,
a roaring
no,
halt, didn't it? Yeah.
No, what are we doing? No.
I would really like to do something to kind of twist the knife when, the metaphorical knife in Kathleen. I'd like this for somebody to go back into Missing in Action with Chuck Norris and edit in Shia LaBeouf so he actually goes in and saves Mutt.
I think we could do that. That would be a lot of fun.
Paul 12,000. I'm curious how YouTube figures out fair use over parody productions.
They default to get rid of it, take it down, because it has the same sound as the song that's copyrighted. We're not checking the lyrics. This is not our thing. The algorithm does all of it anyway, so deal with the AI. Is that, Desiree, is that right, would you say?
Yeah. I don't put stuff up on YouTube hardly ever anymore because they would flag so many things that sometimes they would flag my own arrangements and they say what someone else's. I'm like, I literally made this up like on the spot, but okay.
Yep. You stumbled into somebody else's idea.
Yeah.
See, YouTube has the luxury and the curse of size. They have so much out there that cutting a whole bunch out doesn't make a dent in their overall impression on the universe.
So I won't tell you.
They're perfectly willing to take the most conservative possible view of anything. So
I won't tell you what company did it, but there was a company that owns a lot of music, and they got with an AI company, and they generated vast sums of music and of orchestrations. And the problem with that is then they claimed it. And it's huge, but there is a finite amount of music you could make and it be different. And this company went in and did that, and it's screwed up a lot of stuff with YouTube. And of course, it's not clear that it's legal at all to do that because, well, it was made with AI. So it's a messy place out there.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things it's doing is I listen to a couple channels on Sirius that used to run original stuff. Now, it's very clear to my ear, because I have an ear for it, that they're doing AI copies. And the reason they're doing it is They're still paying the rights to the song, but they're not paying the performance rights to the original performer. So, and that's worth it to them. So,
right.
Donovan Bradford. Lou, best cluster F of a movie production. So bad you had to laugh and go, thank God I wasn't there.
Golly, I mean, there's some famous ones, you know. I mean, Cleopatra and Heaven's Gate and all of those. But depends on how you define it. If you're talking on the result, some of the results survive anyway, but the process of getting to them, there's just little things. I mean, I went on a show one time, a friend of mine was doing, and it took place in Chicago. And the set was the kids' bedroom. And they'd been shooting on this set for weeks and weeks and weeks. Popular sitcom, big star. And it's supposed to be Chicago and the kids' bedroom. And here's Refrigerator Perry. And here's other Chicago sports things. And sitting on the kid's desk is a red batting helmet with a white C on it. And I said, excuse me, that's the Cincinnati Reds. They all gave me such a dirty look because they've been shooting it for months. But those kinds of details so somehow slip through the cracks. And that's the ones I call a mess.
The FTM 22. How would you solve the Star Wars dilemma at this point? Reboot the original trilogy, create something new but better than the sequel trilogy, or just punt the whole blasted thing?
Lauren, you take this one first.
I think the smartest thing they could do is just pick a point after Return of the Jedi and just write over things gradually. I don't know if you adapt a story. I haven't put that much thought into it, but I think the more convoluted they make it, the worse that it gets. Stop trying to explain everything. Just pick a point and start over. And gradually the Disney stuff gets overwritten and over time forgotten.
And you know, when I was a little lad going to Hebrew school, they told us that the Talmud said that the reason for the 40 years of wandering in the desert, you know, was to kill off a whole generation that had been slaves so that the people who founded the new land would be free. I think they need to do absolutely nothing for 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, and then say, oh, hey, by the way, there's this thing in the vault called Star Wars. What do you think we can do with it? Because everybody who's trying to find the way to fix it, find the way to fix it, find a way to fix it, is just making it worse. They're just making it worse.
As for me, I think I would say I would say, like Lauren, I would say this is the canon, and then I would separate all that other stuff into its own EU. And I would say we're starting over.
Anybody else? All right. Atomic Stick Figure. As Disney now owns the rights to the Fox franchises, do you think that they could get a boost in views and interest in Star Wars if they brought in a Predator as a bounty hunter? No. No crossovers. That is the ultimate death of the franchise. Nope.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah, totally agree. But they should start using some of these Fox franchises that are free money. They got Miracle on 34th Street. Make a darn Miracle on 34th Street for the modern era. Make it traditional. Don't screw it up. Have him talk to little Dutch girl and let's go.
Just don't let Netflix do it.
Right.
But don't make it a Hallmark movie.
Laura Markle.
Speak of the devil.
Pro, have you ever considered doing a story and talking on the show Hallmark versus the Great American Family?
Hey, I'm waiting for the call.
Grand Regent Chopper. Hey, Pro, did you read the article Inside the Magic? The article is related to Disney and the FCC. Disney is preparing to take to court the FCC. What are your thoughts, Pro?
You missed the first part of the show, didn't you?
That's right. And I would say the race is on between the two. I think Disney's going to take them to court. I think FCC is going to take Disney to court, and we'll see how it all washes out in the end.
Zen Wookie. What's everyone's take on how likely the current Lucasfilm brain trust will get Star Wars back to some semblance of entertaining storytelling?
Do they have a brain trust?
I don't think the current Lucasfilm people are going to do this. This is going to come from the very top, Filoni and Favreau. They might get some consultation with some of the story group, but the Sean Levy thing, for example, this is largely handing it off to somebody that's not Lucasfilm. And I think that's where this is going. I think Lucasfilm, as currently constituted the way Kathleen Kennedy built it, I don't think Disney trusts it one whit.
I think Sam Witwer would be a good recruit for the Star Wars lore.
Agree. I agree. But I also think part of this question is there's two problems. One is who's really calling the shots? The other is who's producing the product. And I think one of the key elements is I do believe with this meeting that they had, I think it was the 29th that we said, where the Disney top brass came and met with the heads of Lucasfilm.
Have you and I talked about that yet, Lauren? Have we been on the same panel to talk about that yet?
We haven't, but I am certain with that and the then meeting between Filoni and Favreau, Disney has, it's what I've been saying all this time. They have come down and they've said, you're going to fix this thing. We are going to pivot.
Can you confirm something for me, Lauren?
I'll try.
And I know we got to wrap up, but you and I talked before we released the stuff. Mm-hmm. We talked extensively about how to do this and what the sources were saying and stuff that we couldn't talk about and all that kind of thing. Can you confirm I did not know anything about Lucasfilm meeting with the top Disney people when we were going through that, despite the fact that what we were reporting likely came from that meeting? I had no idea that they had flown to Lucasfilm. So all of this happened because I think it's one more sign that we're on the right path here. The fact that we had no idea until days later.
Yes, it's there was nothing in the conversation indicated that this was coming from that meeting. I don't know how much further I can go than that. We discussed some other things, but
we did not know the meeting existed, but we knew the effects of the meeting had taken place. So we were giving a partial. So anyway.
Correct. Amish Warlord, do you think they'll ever add dinosaurs back into Animal Kingdom? One way they could do it is with Dinotopia. Disney was involved with the live-action production.
I don't think it's scale. Maybe something small, but I don't think it's scale.
Okay, back to Super Chats.
All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We'll finish up the show, and we want to thank all of you for being here with us today. We've got Old Renaissance Boomer for 5. Disney is under the delusion that less people who spin is sustainable. It is not. And no truly creative people are left in the Imagineers. Well, you might find one or two, but I'll tell you, almost all of them left and went to Universal Studios, where they're working on lots of things, huge things coming, and some things we can't talk about. Kitty Bear, member for 14 months. My favorite animal is a mouse with dumpster fires. See what you did there? Bruce Newhouse for 199. The Crystal Skull had one good aspect. Karen Allen.
Yeah.
And finally, Culture Casino, member for 37 months. Hi, friends. Follow Lauren for Indiana Jones Raft Flying Adventure. No one could have survived that fall from a plane, Lauren. No one.
That is one of my very favorite action sequences in a movie ever, and I will not accept such slander, sir.
The models, the dummies they used in that boat are not convincing. And the bridge scene in Temple of Doom is a far better action sequence. The bridge scene is better, and you know it.
No, we're going to debate this after the show. I disagree. I don't agree with that. It's a great climax to the movie, but a better action scene? Not hardly.
There's tension there, Lauren. There's a question of what will happen. Nope, at the beginning of a movie, if you jump out of a plane, everybody knows you're going to live. It's going to be a really bad movie if you die in the first
dramatic
third.
tension. You're arguing action. Mostly he's standing on a bridge. He swings the sword down. He wraps his ankle in a rope. That's all the action there is. Unless you want to count the scrambling up the side of the cliff and the fist fight on the thing.
You mean all the action. Got it. Folks, we'll see you soon. Go subscribe to Lady Desiree, Andy Masterson, Lauren, and LW Ghost. A new genre, guys, just came out before the show. It's member-exclusive content.
And I posted 2 new Lose Views today.
That's right. Go over to Lose Views on the Patreon. The link is underneath his name. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you tomorrow. Hollywood will still be insane, and we'll still be covering it with half our brain tied behind our backs.
The mainstream media just can't understand how it is we continue to do what we do. They don't realize that we are powered by you, and you are...
1.21 gigawatts! 1.21 gigawatts!
Folks, we've still got decades and decades left in the can. It drives the mainstream mad.
Would it make you feel any better if you knew that what we're asking Matt here to do is a holy thing?
You see, we're on a mission from God.
We're on a mission from God. Now you're gonna put me right back in the joint. They're not gonna catch us. We're on a mission from God.
So, folks, as we always say as we end each and every show here, and we mean it, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Every time they hit him, he stood back up again. So they hit him harder. Still, he got back to his feet. Standing man.